Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Woodbridge, Virginia, a seemingly mild-mannered online sugar daddy inserts himself into the life of the woman he becomes obsessed with, and two people end up viciously killed. But is everything what it appears to be on the surface? Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again today on another crazy edition of Small Town Murder. They just keep getting crazier, do they not?
Yeah.
I don't know how, but they keep getting crazier, and today is no exception as we have just a really weird case. It's so strange. Such a strange case. It's the most personal, impersonal murders I've ever seen in my life, and that'll make sense a little bit later on. Quickly, before we get started, thanks for everything. Thanks for, of course, listening to Express on Friday, Crime and Sports on Tuesdays, all your reviews, 5 stars, wherever you're listening. Thank you, thank you. Yes. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets if you're listening in the first couple days this comes out. We are in New Orleans right like now, July 15th in New Orleans. That was at the Civic Theater, I think it is.
It is, yeah.
Get your tickets right now. I think there's a few left. Get in there. Come see us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a crazy show for you. And then also check out all the other dates. And you never know when people will return a few tickets, so they'll pop up. So sold out shows. Yeah. Keep looking. And Milwaukee, keep getting those tickets in Milwaukee at the Pabst in September. Thank you. I think it's September 10th. Thank you for all you guys are doing for that. Yeah, that is going to be our biggest show. Let's do it. Milwaukee, show you are superior to Chicago and Minneapolis. Show them what you can do. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. As well as if you want extra stuff, the bonus stuff, head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get it all. You're going to get tons of stuff every other week. That's so great. Every other week, you're going to get 2 new episodes. You're going to get access to everything we put out bonus-wise. Anybody $5 or above is going to get everything. This week, what we're going to have for Crime and Sports, we are going to talk about, if you haven't listened on Crime and Sports, we did the Chris Benoit tragedy with his whole family, and it was horrible. So we are going to talk about crazy Chris Benoit conspiracy theories that people have, especially a really insane wrestler named Billy Jack Haynes, who talks about it for 2 hours in an interview, and it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Then for Small Town Murder, we are going to talk about how, in an interrogation, they broke a guy who's basically the Canadian BTK killer, is what I call him. The pictures that he took and dressed up weird and shit are exactly just like BTK. He did horrible things to these women. He was a high-ranking Canadian Air Force official, and he came in, sat down all cocky, and in an hour with some little tiny dorky investigator, he was like, give me the maps and I'll show you where the bodies are. And I was like, oh my God. So we'll talk all about that.
Patreon. Canadian confession.
Oh man, it was awesome. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And you'll get a shout out at the end of the show where Jimmy will brutally mispronounce your name while trying his goddamn honest hardest to get it correct.
It's Latin,
quickly, though, disclaimer, this is a comedy show.
It is.
We are comedians, so there's going to be jokes all throughout, but the story is real. It couldn't get any realer. We do not make anything up for comic effect or any garbage like that. Every fact is a fact, and that's the way it is. And we're going to make fun of a lot of things, and that's a fact, Jack. The only thing we don't do, we do not do, we go out of our way not to do, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why is that, James?
Because we're assholes. Yeah. But we're not scumbags.
That's
how that goes. So if that sounds good to you, we are going to hear a crazy story. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, maybe you won't like this, but maybe you will. Either way, no bitching afterwards. That said, I think it's time to sit back. Let's clear the lungs wherever you are. By the way, the live shows, I love how you shout out, and
so nice.
It's like a competition between cities. It's wonderful. So pretend you're at a live show and shout out, Shut up! And give me murder.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Okay.
Here we go. We are going all the way to Virginia here. Oh, yeah, Virginia. Woodbridge, Virginia.
It's for lovers?
It's apparently for lovers. If you've ever been on the East Coast at all, they really put a lot of ads out there saying Virginia's for lovers.
Yeah, and West is for lovers of your family.
You get there, and it's more like Virginia's for suburbs. That's what it is. It's like a giant it's a forest with some suburbs in it, is Virginia. It's pretty. It's a beautiful place, honestly. Right. Pretty country
Wouldn't
there.
Wouldn't be shit if it wasn't for D.C., right?
I mean, it would be less people there. It would probably be more like Kentucky, I bet. It would be more of a Kentucky situation. Yeah. This is in northern Virginia, up in the up top, rounder panhandle area, right? Not the western area. This is about a half hour to Washington, D.C. So, I mean, this is the D.C. suburbs, about an hour, 20 minutes to Richmond, Virginia, and 5 hours and 5 minutes to Marion, Virginia, which was our last Virginia episode, Born to Die, which was that was a wild episode. You can go back and listen to that. Lem Tuggle Jr., that's all I remember. All right. It's in Prince William County here. The history of this place, we got to go through this quick because the case is really crazy.
People, huh?
Not really. No, nobody special from here. The area takes its name, history-wise, from Thomas Mason's 1975 wooden toll bridge built to supplant the existing ferry. That's what happened, which carried the Kings Highway traffic across the river. So because he built a wood bridge, they called it, then he had Mason's Woodbridge Plantation, and which is a golf course now, by the way. Oh. And, I guess things grow there, so grass can grow there. The original bridge, which the area took its name from, washed away in 1807 after a heavy storm.
We'll never forget.
So they never rebuilt that one. They just shifted all the stuff toward another area and built a bridge there. But they still called it. Yeah, it's not even there anymore. If it was there and he had a sign and that's the Woodbridge, cool, man. Right. That's neat. And take a picture next to it. But no,
I think we're close to Woodbridge. How do you know? There's a Woodbridge.
Now this is because the golf course is coming up. There's the 16th hole right here. So that used to be where the bridge was. So that ended up happening. The bridge wasn't replaced until the mid 20th century when they built an iron bridge, one of those small iron bridges they have on the East Coast. And then that bridge, as they put it in their website, quote, failed in 1972.
It was a tragedy.
Children fail math. You know what I mean? Like, failing
that bridge killed people.
When a bridge fails, that means, holy shit, that's a problem. That's a failure, a huge failure.
The bridge didn't fail. Whoever built it failed.
We should call this show Small Town Failure. Why say murder? Just because people die, it's technically a failure of character, I suppose, and legal. It's ridiculous. This bridge failed. Your ass, it failed.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here. You can't have a bridge that lasts 20 years.
That was a bad day, you guys.
It was terrible. Twice. The bridge failed. And my kid failed English. It was awful.
2 days. We've had failure of bridges.
Oh, man. This was during Hurricane Agnes, and then it was replaced by a current structure here. So don't drive across that. Let's just say that.
Stay the fuck off their bridges.
They're due for a failure any time now. If I look down at my watch, it's been 50 years. So
hire an Indian to ford the river.
Yes, as the Oregon Trailians once did. There you go. That's what you do. Or you can do that. Or what is it? Float across with the oxen. Which is a fun one. Try to turn it into a bridge.
Turn it into a boat.
In a little float, and you're thinking, and then it just breaks apart, and all your kids are dead.
And
quite
you lose
the game.
Tongues, evidently.
Well, my mom and kids died. All right, well, that's nice. It's just me and the wife there. So reviews of this town. Oh, boy. 5 stars for this one. 5 stars. Great location. Close to everything. Local shops of all kinds. A plethora of restaurants. And direct access into Washington, D.C.
Do you know what a plethora means?
A shitload. An assortment. A varied assortment. Shitloads of assortment.
That was the Three Amigos reference. I'm sorry.
I know. No, I know exactly what it is. But I doubt how many people that are listening you think know fucking Three Amigos reference. We know every fucking Steve Martin stupid reference, but I don't know if everyone else does. So I'm like,
every time I hear that word, I think of that movie because that movie taught me what that word means.
That was a formative movie for children like us, Jimmy.
It was.
It really was. It was like 3 big comic actors together. We were like, oh my God, this is a super team right here. This is like LeBron getting together with this one, and this is working out.
Perhaps that's why I have Mexican children. I fell in love with a Mexican because of Three Amigos.
But you didn't go all the way, did you?
No, not particularly. No.
She's not really. That's anyway, we won't talk about your ex-wife. Anyway, 5 stars. Quote, I have lived in Woodbridge, Virginia for most of my life. Some people that have never lived here call it Woodbridge.
Okay.
Some
people.
I have lived in Woodbridge, Virginia for most of my life. Some people that have never lived here call it Woodbridge.
What's the name of the town then, friend?
You just called it Woodbridge, and you've lived there your whole life. So what else is it called, man? Right. Well, let's find out. This is a stereotype other cities give us all around Northern Virginia. We are seen as the bad town, as the one that has the most crimes or drug deals. When I say that Woodbridge is not as bad as people have it out to be, I'm not being biased. Oh, well, clearly. What I love about Woodbridge, they've called it Woodbridge 7 fucking times, and I'm really confused. What I love about Woodbridge most is the people here. The people are diverse. They come from several different ethnicities and culture. This is what brings everyone together. We are all an indirect family. This town is what unity looks like. I am so grateful to have it. Indirect family, they put in quotes, too. We're an indirect family. Like, I don't even know. I am so grateful to live in it. I am so grateful to be a part of Woodbridge, Virginia.
Okay.
That's not called Woodbridge. I don't understand. Okay. This person's very confusing.
Is there a way to, like, put some extra stank on Woodbridge to make... Some people call it Woodbridge. You know what I mean?
It's the same...
Is that what it is?
I don't know. If you put quotes on it, it's still Woodbridge. What does, quote, Woodbridge mean? Like, like that means Woodbridge still, right? I'm really confused.
You said that like Bill Cosby said kids would say, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Exactly. 3 stars. Woodbridge is a good place to live. That's a nice opener. That's good. Yeah. It's a friendly place with good communities and some better attractions. One of those attractions being the one and only Potomac Mills Mall.
Oh.
Where I personally met the famous Allen Iverson while I was simply leaving the mall. What is happening in this town? These people are nuts. Not many people seem to recognize him, but I surely did. Who the fuck didn't recognize Allen Iverson? He played for Georgetown. He's a superstar. He's world famous. He's on TV and commercials. What the hell are you talking about?
A 6'2" black guy with a neck tattoo and dread, like braids and
the face of Allen Iverson. He's a famous person. It doesn't matter how tall he is, what his hair looks like. None of that.
The neck tattoo stands out, though.
Look at his face. It's Allen goddamn Iverson. I saw him on a Nike commercial last week, or whatever the fuck he was for. Adidas. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Okay. 2 stars is the next one. This neighborhood's crime and safety is poor. One time, one of the neighbors got in an argument with another resident of their household. There was a domestic dispute, is what that's called.
Yeah.
They were screaming and throwing things onto the yard. That sounds awesome. As long as they're not hitting each other, they're just throwing shit out in the yard. I want to watch that. What went into the house? I went into the house and waited until it calmed down, but it took over an hour before it ceased. You went over and got involved and... You see someone's like...
He wanted to see too, James.
You see someone's lazy boy flying out the door, you go, I'm watching from a safe distance, but I'm not going over there.
This guy wants 3D.
Oh, my God. He's like, what's happening over here? The vase hits the wall behind him.
I need this in IMAX.
Wow. The yelling was so loud it pierced through the walls. My mom, who was in the shower at the time, could even hear it. This is a review of a town, by the way. What are we talking about? We're talking about her mom's shower, or his mom's shower, whoever's. My grandmother got her car broken into. Granted, she left it unlocked. That's not broken into then. That's just my grandmother had somebody open her car door and take whatever was inside.
Right.
Broken implies you did something to get in there. And people,
I hate this place. My grandma's dumb.
My grandma's lazy and doesn't lock her car door.
And my mom's naked in the shower.
Yeah, my mom's always in the shower. My grandma's a dumb, lazy twat. Perfect. And people have sometimes left broken beer bottles on the road. Oh, not that. As well as graffitied the tennis court in the park. Not the tennis court.
Right.
Oh, my God. They'll be...
I'll bet the beer bottles were not broken.
Oh, no. That's why I give it a 2 out of 5. Well, thank you. 1 star, the last one. I would like to see a decrease in crime. That would be great. More affordable living costs. I've been robbed twice living here in 2 different areas of Woodbridge. Okay, time to leave.
Yep.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. You might as well just stab me while you're robbing me at that point, because why not?
I want to know more about the robbery. Was there a weapon involved? Was it face-to-face? Or did you leave your doors unlocked? That's just not robbery.
I left my car door unlocked and things were taken. There isn't much nightlife. You'd have to go to D.C. for that. It's a half hour away. Seems reasonable. Right. There's plenty of places to get a solid meal for a fair price. Nice movie theaters in the area as well. Okay. Oh, well, that's good. Just don't come out of them at night or you'll be robbed. People in this town, 4,668. So it's a small area.
Yeah.
It's small. It's a few more males than female, actually. Okay. I don't know if that has to do with people working in Washington or what that's about. Median age is about normal. It's around 39. There's a lot of 45 to 54, which I would think that's kind of working in D.C. age, I would think. Yep. A lot of that. Married rate's about normal. A few more single people with children, but that's about it. Race in this town, it's kind of along national averages, kind of. It's 57% white. Around the country, it's 62. 15% black, which around the country, it is 12.7. 6.7% Asian, 20% Hispanic. So it's It's kind of kind of go over the rest of the country here. 38%.
For this small of a place, that's very impressive that they've done that.
Well, it's just, I don't think it's on purpose. I don't think there was like zoning for it. Oh, you need 20%. Come on now. I don't give a shit if you're Mexican, Puerto, whatever. The census says Hispanic. I don't even know what that means anymore. I'm not sure.
Need some Latin country
Whatever
people.
You got. Is there a Cuban in there? We'll take them. As long as they don't break into the Watergate again, because those sons of bitches did that the first time. Anyway, so religion, 38%. It's more Catholics than the rest of them, but it's all mixed together. 0.1% Jewish, though. Not a lot of Jewish people here. Politically in this town, this county, Prince William County, last election, 62.6% Democratic, 35.6% Republican, and 1.7% Independent. Unemployment rate here is about the national average. It's pretty normal. Median income here, though, is high. The median household income here is $109,196. Yeah, which is like double the national average. So
that's amazing.
Not bad. And the cost of living overall, 100's is average here. It's $119. Median home cost is a little high, though. Median home cost $408,100, which is above the national average. So if we've convinced you, damn it, to get your ass over here to Woodbridge, we have for the Belmont golf course, which is what Woodbridge is now, we have for you the Woodbridge, Virginia Real Estate Report. The average two-bedroom rental here goes for $1,637 a month. So
holy shit.
Pricey, above the national average. Here's a three-bedroom, three-bath, 1,440 square foot house. This is kind of the lowest thing you're going to find here in terms of price.
Good starter.
It's not a bad house. It's a townhouse. It needs, the paint's ugly. You know what I mean?
It's attached to another one?
Yeah. It's a townhouse like that. It's just kind of it looks like a place that you'd share with a roommate if you were going to like intern in Washington for a year. You know what I mean? If you were like a graduate student and your parents had a lot of money and they're going to rent you an expensive house.
You want to be a lobbyist one day?
Yeah. You want to really be like a congressional intern or something. I want to be fingered in an elevator. This is the place to do it.
A complete asshole for the rest of my life.
$329,000 for that. So that's entry level. Here's a three-bedroom, two-bath, 1,466 square feet. It's kind of that house, but nicer. But and an actual like detached house, and nice house. It's boring but nice. You could kind of look at it as a blank canvas. $419,000 for that.
Oh, my. So to get rid of the neighbors, it's another $100,000.
And then 4-bedroom, 4-bath, T-bowl for each and every b-hole, 5,005 square feet.
Oh God.
Okay, it's close to a lake, and it looks like a hedge fund guy who's really, really wealthy, said, make me feel like I'm a rustic man. You know what I mean? Somewhere where I can put plaid on and sit there and feel like I'm one with the earth, like put some wood in there.
Cosplay the brawny guy.
Yeah, you know how it goes. I really want to do that. Put some heads up on the wall that other people have hunted. That's the thing I'm looking for. Wow, $1,130,000 for that, though.
Oh, dear Lord.
So, big old deck out back. It looks kind of nice, but inside it needs a remodel. Anyway.
Dude, it's 5,000 square feet.
It's a huge house. It's huge. Yeah, it's a lot to do. Things to do in this town. All of these, I'm going to give you 3 things, and they all should be one thing together. Okay. Right? Check these out. First of all, the Stonebridge Fall Fest and Chili Cook-Off.
Of course. There's Stonebridge now.
This is Stonebridge nearby. Okay. There's another town of Stonebridge. They think they're superior because their bridge, didn't collapse 5 times since the 1800s.
Big bad wolf can't blow it down.
You know how that goes. Never figured that out. So it's a day of community fun as they host a chili cook-off in the beautiful Stonebridge Town Center in Woodbridge, Virginia.
Oh, wait, what?
It's the Stonebridge Town Center, so it's a strip mall, I think, in Woodbridge, Virginia. There's a Stonebridge in Woodbridge, Jimmy. Jesus, keep up. The fuck, are you slow over there? What's going on?
I'm trying so hard.
What are you, on the nod? What's happening, man?
One of these days I'm going to get out of Strawbridge and things are going to be fine.
There's more bridges than that. I just haven't told you about it. I want to blow your mind. A lot of vendors, all this shit's 2 stages of music, performances, blah, blah. Okay. Then there's the Woodbridge Beer Fest. Okay. We're taking over the main drag of Stonebridge and filling it with beer, food, some wine, root beer. Not a lot of wine, apparently. Beer, food, tons of that, some wine. Got to look for it. Root beer for the kids, in parentheses. You can't have any if you just like root beer. And a ton of fun for adults and kids alike. Join the 5th annual Woodbridge Beer Fest. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they have a live DJ for this one, which is way better than a shitty local band like they most of the time they have.
Unless it's Marshmallow or some shit like that.
But this is going to be, it's better than like, here's the Yes tribute band. Right. And they, I don't want to listen to that. Huey Lewis and the Blues. No, that's... No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear what you're doing.
I don't want to hear Yes if it's them live.
No. Yes's cover band, Them. Here they are, everybody. Them.
Huey Lewis and the Blues.
Rush's cover band is called Hurry Up Already. Hurry Up Already. Here it is. Instead, they got DJs. They have giant beer pong. I don't know why it's giant chess as well. You get giant chess pieces.
Yeah, big pieces.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Then there's the Potomac Mills Mac and Cheese Festival.
Oh.
Put these together. Chili, mac and cheese, and beer should be in one fucking tent, man. What are we talking about?
That sounds great.
That's a festival. These are all different types a year. You got to walk around with your cold mac and cheese from 3 months ago to get your chili to have with it and your beer. This is a mess. You vote for your favorites. Virginia's cheesiest celebration here. Boy. Top chefs and food trucks and all sorts of shit. Mac and cheese. I went to a mac and cheese festival in upstate New York last year. And, I ate a bunch of shit. It was fine, but it was pretty boring. Anyway, so they said
they didn't have a Led Zeppelin tribute band, Iron Blimp.
I don't think they did. I think they didn't actually. It was not. Wasn't there crashing aerial.
Crashed aerial showcase.
Oh, God damn it. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm sorry. So anyway, 21 years or older to consume alcohol, like the rest of the United States, it says on here for some reason. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in. Property crime, slightly above average, just above average. Okay. Or as that reviewer said, the bad town around here.
It's horrible.
And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is just slightly over half the national average. So it seems like
it's pretty safe.
Pretty average little small town is what it seems like.
These people are nitpicky.
Very, very nitpicky. That said, speaking of nitpicky, let's talk about a murder, which I think that's nitpicky. Someone's going to kill. You really have to have a reason to kill. I feel like unless the person killed one of your children or like your spouse or your mother or something,
retribution.
Unless it's something like that where you're just like, the fire burns inside of me. Oh, I can't sleep. I can't eat that person. I must, wear their blood on my body like a cloak. Unless it's like that and you need it, it's nitpicky. It really is. You could probably just move on, get over it. So let's murder. We're going to go back to January of 2001 and we'll start here. The whole thing starts in 1999, late 1999, and goes through January 2001. So we'll go to this area.
Barely pre-9/11.
These people still have cell phones, but they're not texting yet. No cameras.
Time of America.
No cameras, no videos, but if you're stuck somewhere, you could make a call. That's the great part about it. That was wonderful. But people couldn't just bother you willy-nilly.
Play the snake game while the AAA truck shows up.
You're like, they got Tetris now. Holy shit. That was like a mind blower.
That was a big deal, yeah.
Oh my God. We sound like we're 100 right now too, but this just happened. We're not that old. It's, we're talking, I guess it's 20 years ago. So you know what? I guess we're old. Never mind.
That is quite the barefoot uphill both ways statement.
That's bad. We're old. That means we're old. We're sorry for our age, everybody.
I can't help it.
We both turned 40. It's a mess since then, the last couple of years.
The world keeps going around the sun. Otherwise, I'd be younger.
Yeah, I can't stop that. Did we tell the Earth to go around the sun? Is that a thing that happened?
It's doing it really fast.
I wasn't on that board when that was voted on. Were you?
Never once.
No.
I didn't have a say.
They want to slow it down a little bit. I'm cool with that. We'd still be the same age, I guess, but we'd be younger in years.
Longer, maybe.
Yeah, like dogs.
I'm tired of being 41 too.
It's terrible. No one wants to be this old, damn it. So, Anyway, 2001. Let's talk about a guy. Now, do you remember a couple years back on Small Town Murder, we had a gentleman named Extra Billy?
I do.
Remember we had Extra Billy? Yeah. Well, this week we have a different kind of Billy, all right?
Oh.
Okay, this man he's called numerous different. He's either called Larry or called Bill.
Okay.
Either way, his last name's Elliott, Elliott.
Yeah.
Or commonly called Larry Bill.
Larry Bill.
Larry Bill is better than Extra Billy. Larry Bill. Here's my friend Barry Will and my other friend Harry Phil. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not a name. Those aren't names.
You're right.
Billy Joe, at least it's hillbilly, but at least it flows. Something like that. Sammy D, fucking, I don't know. This is...
I'm pretty sure there's a race car driver named Bill Elliott, and that might be why he did this.
I don't think I don't think there's a lot of... His name is Larry Bill, Jimmy.
Larry Bill.
Larry Bill. Larry Bill Elliott. Okay, Larry awesome. Or Bill. Both.
Whatever.
Sure. No, both. Put them together.
I need them both.
Larry Bill.
Larry Bill.
So, Larry Bill over here. My God. Larry Bill. Now, all of his friends will say, and this is from affidavits, actually, so this is you're swearing on the record here, that he is, quote, this is from one of his friends, one of the nicest people they've ever met, a man who never raises his voice and never gets angry.
That's not true.
That's Larry Bill for you right
there.
There.
Way that's true.
Never He's raised in Smithville, West Virginia. He's West Virginia hill folk. I don't buy that.
He doesn't yell?
I don't buy that at all. He at least yodels. There's some loud something's coming out of his mouth when he's dancing barefoot on a moonlit night.
Yeah,
to the jug band. He is
something. Yeah,
he's hollering. I'll just say that much right there.
He's woo-hooing. I guarantee it.
Oh man, so that's what's going on. He's from there.
He's raised in West Virginia. There's so much space there. At some point, he had to raise his voice just to communicate with somebody that was the closest person to him.
Hey, hey. I'll be there. I'm fucking my sister. I'll be there soon. Cool. All right.
Or perhaps he just never yelled and nobody ever communicated with him because he wouldn't raise his voice to share the information that we needed.
Larry Bill.
Yeah.
You just see his lips move from like 100 yards away. You look to your friend, he won't raise his voice.
He refuses.
He never yells. I'm telling you, he won't raise his voice.
Of a man.
But he is answering. That's polite, but he's just doing it in his own tone of voice. I guess we go closer, right?
Somebody jot that down. Never once. He won't raise his voice.
Won't do it. He just slowly.
Even when he needs to.
I might need this for court at another time. Larry Bill. He was drafted into the Army in December of 1970 in the middle of Vietnam. He's drafted into the Army, so that's interesting here. This was after he spent a couple years in college. So he went to college for a couple of years, dropped out of college, and once he wasn't in college anymore, then you get drafted. There you go. During Vietnam, families would pool up money just to send the person to any kind of college they could and just stay there. And they were saying, just hang on until the fucking draft is over. We don't care. I don't give a shit if you hate fucking sociology. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Stay there.
Cheat and
Jesus
steal.
Christ.
Get your grades up. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember this book of letters, Hunter S. Thompson letters, he was writing to his mom, sending home like $70 and $60 to keep his younger brother in college. Just, telling him, I know he wants to drop out, but tell him just hang on, see if we can get out of it. So it's interesting. So he goes there. He goes to the Army. He's in the Army for about 3 years when he gets involved in counterintelligence.
Oh.
Larry Bill has a job that has the word intelligence in it, which is an unexpected twist to the story. I'll be honest with you. I didn't expect that.
And counterintelligence means he's cracking codes and shit. This guy, Larry Bill's a genius?
Larry Bill is like meta-intelligence. Like he's going to see the other side of their intelligence through his own. It's fucking wild. So... Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
He's doing high-level work overseas, safeguarding military communications by detecting enemy bugs. That's his job.
Get after it, Larry Bill. Save America.
That's what he's doing.
Larry Bill is our Captain America?
I picture him in just an all-black suit with a mask on, making hand signals to his friend while... very stereotypical terrorists are sitting in a room, with maps out with X's on them with big explosions going, New York City should be first, I tell you. And that. And then he busts in the room Naked Gun, like Leslie Nielsen. Beats them all up and
rips open his suit to expose a giant white star on a red and blue suit.
He wipes the spot off Gorbachev's head and then he hangs out with OJ for a while. That's how it's going to end up happening. You haven't seen a Naked Gun.
OJ over in a car and drags him around town.
We're very good at making references from movies made in 1986 today. This is going well.
Sorry if you're young.
This is great. You know what, though? If you're young, you should see The Naked Gun and just Three Amigos anyway. Yeah, I didn't care. I saw movies that were made well before I was born when I was a kid. Because I heard they were funny. Jesus Christ. I wouldn't have seen any Mel Brooks shit otherwise.
Right.
I wouldn't have seen Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. So he's doing all this. He's doing smart stuff. He received intelligence training and routine weapons instruction as well. But he says in his own quote here, quote, "I was never trained to be an assassin."
Oh. Well.
So that makes me think.
Wink, wink.
He was trained to be an assassin. If he's involved in military intelligence and he specifically says, "I didn't do this," that means he did that, I feel like, right? Just from the history of military intelligence type shit.
He's a guy that's probably sworn to uphold governmental secrets. So if he was not trained, he was fucking trained.
Probably. So him and his friend, who's going to be a lifelong friend of his, both of their jobs were in the military and involved a lot of technical investigation, according to his friend, and technical surveillance countermeasures.
Oh, what's his name? Terry Charles?
Wow, that is... I think his name is actually, if I'm not mistaken, oh, God damn it, I have it down a little bit further later on, but it's funny, too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Terry Chris?
It's not Terry Chris or Frankie Sue or some shit, which would be even that, even funny like that. Just doesn't work together. Fucking
Frankie Sue.
Frankie Sue.
I wish I was going to have a kid. I would certainly name either male or female Frankie Sue.
It goes either way. That's the good part.
That's the most fantastic.
It's a boy.
Unisex name ever.
It's a boy. I'm a Johnny Cash fan. It's a girl. You're like, that's a cool name, right? Frankie Sue.
That's adorable.
Yeah, there you go. I like that, right? Either way, you win. Frankie Sue. Everyone name your kids Frankie Sue. Thank you.
It's the greatest name ever.
So he says his friend in a deposition later on, this is under oath, he says that they set up listening devices and video surveillance and developed measures to detect and locate technical devices. He says, quote, "We were not and have never trained to be killer agents with any knowledge to cover up any evidence of our actions. We were never trained to be undercover spies. We're considered geeks within the intelligence community and would never be confused for thugs or brutes." That's what he says.
That's what you want to keep the appearance of, then I believe you.
That's how it's going, yeah. So he ends up getting married during all this. He gets married in the like before he goes to Vietnam, like right after during college he gets married.
Brilliant. Oh, you get double paycheck.
Well, he has kids right away too.
Yeah.
He has a kid in in 69 and 70. Boom, boom. Right.
Really?
Right then. Yeah. That's when he ends up getting drafted. And then 3 years later, they have another kid. Wow. So by the year 2000, these kids are 32, 31, 28. They're all, they're all older by then, grown and moved out of the house because he's 51 years old by 2001. So there you go. He's born in 1950. And but he found another woman. And he started over. Damn it! When he's about 35, they have a child as well, a daughter. So in 2001 or 2000, he's married to a woman named Kathy Elliott, who's his wife, and they have a daughter who's 15 who lives at home, and then his 3 grown children are out of the house. Obviously. From the previous marriage. Yeah. So he's kind of living that second marriage life where he had a kid when he was a little older, and at 35, that's not
15 years into the good marriage.
Yeah. Later on. So now by 1999, though, his relationship with his wife is not going well anymore.
Oh, no.
It's not going well. The way he put it, he said the passion was gone. Just no more passion anymore.
Yeah,
no
dummy.
more passion.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's you're 51. You're 51, and you have a kid in their teens, and you'll figure it out. But
what do you want?
You're going through a lull. What kind of action are you looking for over here? So, yeah, this is one of these people who he's like a guy who reads some article from some celebrity who's 73, and they're like, we fuck every day. No, they don't. No, it's not true. And if it is, that's disgusting when you're thinking about. Who was it? Suzanne Summers talking about her and her husband are fucking all the time, and her husband's 83 and she's 77. I'm like, I don't want to hear about them. They're like, we fuck in the kitchen, we fuck over here. I'm like, that's disgusting. That is gross. Imagine if one of your grandkids walked in on that. They would be
oh God,
ruined.
What is that?
Ruined. Imagine how you would have felt if you walked in on your elderly grandparents with your grandmother's leg up on the counter and your fucking grandpa just pounding her from behind. Tell me you wouldn't. You don't even know what you would be a different man right now. I feel like
I'm probably suicide right there.
Right there. You grab the clothes. It's in the kitchen. Luckily,
I just do it.
You just jab a knife into your throat and let me die.
My grandfather is insanely hairy too. I was working on a computer.
That makes it even better.
I was working on a computer. He went and took a shower and didn't realize he didn't have a towel. So then he ran out of the bathroom and didn't see me standing at the computer. And I just heard noise, so I turned and looked as he grabbed the towel and then turned and faced me. And I was like, no.
Now imagine that happened with your grandmother bent over in front of him.
No.
Think about that. That's 10 times worse. All my grandparents hated each other, too, so it wouldn't even have been nice. They would have been like, my grandmothers would have been yelling at my grandfathers for something. It would have been terrible. Oh, God.
Like grudge fucking.
Yeah. Talking about what they're going to have for dinner, it would have been terrible.
Or bitching about her cooking last night. I'm going to take it out on you.
It would have been
hammering her.
So, luckily, that didn't happen. So that's good. Anyway, I don't know how the hell we got to there, but it's pretty good. I don't know how we got to. How would it have affected you psychologically if you walked in on your grandparents in an elderly state fucking in the kitchen?
Thanks
but either way,
Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, it's all her fault. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that's right. Three's company, and now we got to deal with this. Yeah. Right. So by 1999, Passion's gone, and he's on now. The internet's come around in 1999.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a 51-year-old guy looking around the internet for chicks now, which is pretty much 80% of what the internet was in 1999 was 51-year-old men looking for women, right?
Yeah, and about 36% of what it is today.
And 36, yeah. And the rest was like 25-year-old guys pretending to be women for these guys to get money from them or to whatever the catfishing does. So he ran across an adult matchmaking website, okay? He ran across a website, and he's like, okay, I'm going to try to find somebody here. So he's looking around, and this is like pre-Tinder. This is the only thing that exists at this point is like, this is not even Match.com. This is like eHarmony I don't even think existed yet. There's like
MSN chat groups.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. So you can't go, there's no like website. I'm sure there was specialized like dating services that had been around a while had moved their thing to the internet, but there was no like dipshit on a commercial going, I can match you with the person you're going to love for the rest of your life. It's a giant fucking conglomerate, and we do that. That didn't exist yet, I don't think, in 99.
eHarmony? Was it around yet?
I said eHarmony. I'm not even sure if that dildo was around yet. That fucking Orville Redenbacher looking motherfucker going around inserting himself in other people's business. It's like a giant Orville Redenbacher, that guy. He's not fooling me. Take your popcorn and fuck off, Mormon. I feel like he just looks like a giant.
Yeah, it looks like a guy that's just trying to get more wives.
Yeah. I'm talking like more Warren Jeffs Mormon I'm talking about. Like he's like, I'm going to take you down to Colorado City with me. How's that sound? If you click on my profile, you'll see Colorado City. That's where you're going to end up.
Get on eHarmony.com where there's a bunch of guys that are trying to get you, and me that's making you do it in the pre-use conditions. You are now my wife.
That's how it works.
I don't know what to tell you.
You said you agree to all the sites. Remember?
Terms and
in the beginning, terms and
conditions. You are my wife.
It said scroll to read. Did you miss that part? You could have scrolled black and white. It was right there, black and white. So that's a little weird. So he ran across a profile from put up by a person who said they were looking for a sugar daddy.
Oh, God.
Okay. Now, he does well for himself here, Larry Bill. I apologize. Larry Bill does pretty well for himself. Has a nice nest egg. Yeah. You know, makes good money. He's good at his shit. He does intelligence, like security and all that kind of shit. He's good at it. That's good money in Washington, So he, post-Watergate, that's been good money for anybody who does stuff like that. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Sugar daddy, and it is placed by a person with the moniker Bunny 469. He said he's intrigued by that. I see 69 in there. Intriguing. Like it's some sort of intellectual pursuit.
Listen, Bunny's for it, James.
Yeah. Like it's an intellectual pursuit to have some strange chick's ass in your face while she blows you. That's not an intellectual pursuit. It's a different kind of pursuit. It's a fine pursuit, don't get me wrong. But it's also...
It's very rare to be into that.
So he's saying, let's see here. So
I wonder what she's up to.
He said he was intrigued. He sent an email. Never expected a reply.
Larry Bill, you're in counterintelligence. You didn't know?
He's not in intelligence. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Counterintelligence is a really good. If this whole thing was a movie, it would be called Counterintelligence, and it would be a comedy, a slapstick. Counterintelligence,
right?
Because that's what's happening here. Wow. So he's very intrigued by Bunny 469, who's looking for. He said he never expected a reply. Like there's just a wave, an ocean of men wanting to give this person money, specifically as a sugar daddy. Not I want to date you. Not like Love After Lockup, where they're in prison pretending like that you're their long lost love when they want money. She's straight up like, I want money from you.
Yeah.
And he says, intriguing. So he. Like I said, married, 3 adult children, all this shit. Well, Bunny 469 turns
it never stops being
It's going to be funny forever. It's better than Frico Fark, isn't it? But really I feel like Bunny 469, that's a license plate. It's someone fuck Frico Fark. This is the best profile screen name we've ever had on this entire show. Bunny 469. Looking for a sugar daddy. So her name actually, the Bunny 469, is a former stripper. She just stopped dancing, named Rebecca Gregg with 2 G's at the end, not in the beginning. So 3 G's total out of 5 letters.
Bunny nowhere in her name.
No, Bunny 469. So. But yeah, Rebecca Gregg, not as intriguing as Bunny 469.
Great point. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Gregg sounds like a villain in somewhere.
Gregg. Yeah, it sounds like a cartoon villain.
Yeah, it does.
What wasn't that one of the
Crag?
Crag.
Crag. Yep.
Yeah,
the brain
sounds
guy
like
inside.
A Smurf villain or something. Crag's gonna get us. Oh no, he's got Gargamel. So. Azrael and Gargamel. So they are looking for a sugar daddy. There we go. And she replies, and they decide we're going to meet up in a restaurant, public place.
Not bad.
Public place to see if I guess you're worthy of giving me money for nothing. In Crystal City is where they meet up. They hit it off right away.
Really?
Right away. Isn't that amazing? Oh, no, she likes all the same stuff he likes.
Of course she does.
Of course she does. Yeah, everything's going great. She's 30, by the way. He's 51, just to put that in a perspective of, not that's fine if that's what you are, but there's a definite dynamic to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 51-year-old.
Kids her age.
Yeah, older than her. Yeah,
right.
That kid's older than her. But to have a 51-year-old guy who's currently married and all that, and then he's intrigued by a younger woman who's got 69 in her screen name. So a number of times they meet up and talk and just have a chat. She says that she needs money. The reason why she's doing this, she needs money to turn her life around, and in return, she'll offer, quote, companionship.
Oh.
Non-sexual companionship.
Wow.
I will.
Your screen name. Your screen name implied otherwise.
You put 69.
Yeah.
And I feel like sugar daddy implies I give you money, you fuck me, right? That's what it feels like that feels like an arrangement, like a seeking arrangements type arrangement. That's what that seems like, an arrangement. I'll blow you, you give me money, you're excited that I'm 20 years younger than you.
Yeah.
You have money that you can part with, whatever.
Everybody's happy. And I get to see your butthole.
Yeah, everybody's happy with that. Yeah. That's fine. When people do that, if they have an arrangement that everyone's fine with, great. But this is a non-sexual. This is I'll hang out with you and I'll just hang out with you, and he is okay with that.
Oh God. For now.
Yeah, that's what it is. She will always say this is not a sexual relationship. No, there was never any sexual relationship until later on when she says they had sex. But that's a different. That's on a whole. There'll be a lot of different stories going on what happened here. So,
okay.
Larry Bill, he later on wouldn't describe the nature of their relationship in any other way except that it was, quote, very intense, very intimate.
What he means is embarrassing.
Yeah, very intense, meaning I'm not a total sucker. Like, she really took me in, and we were super close and tight, and we had this relationship that was so intimate and came just short of me putting my penis inside of her. It was just up to that level, and then we backed off.
Over and over, exclusively.
But very exclusive. So now, Rebecca, let's talk about her situation. Let's talk about old Bunny 469 here.
Yeah.
She meets Larry Bill, like I said, spring of 99 here when she's doing it. She was having financial troubles, looking for a relationship. At the time they met up, her electricity and phone had been shut off at her house.
Oh, boy.
So I don't know how she was on her computer if her electricity was shut off, but somewhere she went to a library or some shit. I don't know.
First person to get solar.
First person ever. And she is has trouble supporting her kids, obviously. By the way, she has children. She has children as well. She called it later on, quote, "It was the most desperate, pathetic moment of my life." When Larry Bill came along here.
Lucky for you, Bunny 469 was still available.
Thank God. Everything else, Bunny 69 I went for first, obviously. That was gone, so I went Bunny 169, Bunny 269, 3, and then jackpot on 4. And here we are.
And it has double meaning, because I'm for it. I'm certainly for it.
For Bunny 469. It's like a political ad. Yeah. It's a political ad. Bunny 469.
Oh, boy.
In 2022. So, which, you know what? I think that'd get a lot of votes out of people.
It sure would.
I'm forcing a lot of guys would go, all right there. So, she's all right there, this one. Now, it was a long email, the first initial email. He told her he wanted to help her. He's very lonely, even though he's married with a 15-year-old in the house. And he's just looking for a friend. Right. That's it. Now, Greg had been doing some escorting on the side as well. Here. She'd been stripping for clients in Washington, D.C., including multiple different congressmen who would have her come in at parties and parade around. And she ran a website this was the time when there was all these like individual weird porn websites that weren't it was before the whole thing got eaten up by these conglomerates. Now you got these multinational porn empires where it's just clogging it all up. It's Your indie porn site could really thrive back then is what I'm getting at, man. And it's just gone the way of all corporate now, man. Gotta take down the system.
Big Porn's made it free.
Big Porn's made it free. Now what? Bunny 469 can't have a pay site because she made a pay website, a fee-based website where she posted nude photos of herself.
Oh.
That's what she had going on.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, she had her, but you had to do it individually back then. Your own website. Yeah. She told him, though, that she believed her work was, as she put it, morally wrong.
Okay.
She felt a moral sting of this and desperately wanted to find a new way out here. Yeah. So Larry Bill, their first meeting, by the way, he took her out to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse as well. Yeah, so he's like,
then it was a good place.
Yeah, he's like, I'll drop a few bucks. Yeah, you know, no. The potato you order separate from the steak here.
What sides do I get? Fancy. No, baby, that's not how this works.
Whichever ones you want, but it's extra. But you know what? It's on me.
It is.
I got you. Yeah. I got you covered. So he proposed a business plan where he would help her out of her financial hole if she were willing to be his friend and possibly even help him out with a few business ventures, maybe.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the overboard arrangement, except she knows that she's doing it. That's the only...
She's very well aware.
She's aware of who she is and what she's doing. So they said, okay. They agreed that sex wouldn't enter into this relationship. They're going to be companions.
Platonic.
Confidants. That's what they're going to be. Platonic confidants, like the Golden Girls. That's what they're going to be. So they agreed that no sex.
Thank you for being a friend.
It's right in the song.
It is.
A pal and a
right
confidant. There you go. That means we don't finger each other.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anything against. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but.
Nothing. Not us. Not us four.
You know, it's just not us four. Sophia's too old. Blanche has every dick in town. Rose doesn't know that exists. And Dorothy's too bitter for any sexual contact. So that's how we're rolling.
And Sophia's Rose's mom, right?
She's B. Arthur's mom. She's Dorothy's mom.
Dorothy's mom. That's it.
Dorothy's mom. And
so that would be weird.
Which, if you put all that to music, that's not a good theme song. So it's much better to say thank you for being a friend. Pal and a confidant.
I won't finger your mom.
I won't sneak into her room at night. Thank you for not fingering my mom. She sleeps really hard and might not wake up.
She's too old and might do damage.
See, that's a different song, right?
Holy fuck.
I think their decision was correct. They made the right choice there. In my opinion. I'm no expert, but anyway, looking for a friend. She says, yeah, what the fuck? Let's do this. 3 days later, he writes her a check for nearly $7,000.
Okay.
To get her out of a
lot.
That's a lot. That's a chunk of change, especially 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's not just fixing internet and electricity.
That's not $500 to get your lights turned back on.
No.
I got my Discover card is due like that. She's going down a list of bills that she has.
That's prepaying the electric for the year.
Yeah, and it totaled nearly $7,000. Wow. Rebecca said later on, quote, "I know it sounds strange, but he said he wanted to help me. He appeared to be a nice guy who had a good heart."
Help that.
A good heart and a rock hard cock. You put those things together, you're going to get a motivated individual.
Boy.
I wish a good heart and a rock hard cock could be the name of the episode, but it can't be, unfortunately.
It's a solid Craigslist ad, though.
That's a solid good heart, rock hard cock. Put your age, fucking weight, height, whatever, your stats, and then just good heart, rock hard cock. I think that's nice guy. He'll give it to you good.
Contact here.
That's right. Larry Bill paid her rent for her. Bought her a green 1996 Jeep Cherokee.
Hell yeah.
Which was hot shit in the late 90s. Gave her a cell phone, which she did not have, and an American Express Gold card with her fucking name on it.
What?
Amex Gold card with her name on it. All in the name of
sugar daddied out.
That is paid your rent, free car, here's your phone. Even if it's so I can get a hold of you, you still got a phone, and then an Amex Gold card just in case you're short on cash. That's
no sex.
No sex.
That's a great guy.
And he's happy to do. Good heart, rock hard cock.
Yeah, he's not lying.
Say it, Jimmy. What is he?
Good heart, James.
That's
my kind of guy right
there. He's the kind of guy. All right. He's Jimmy's kind of guy for now.
That's a sweetheart of a man.
Yeah. So he said, and it's more than that. Her business, she's trying to start a business too. Yeah. She's not just trying to catch up on her bills and then sit there. She has a business model that she brought to him where it's a business that designs and sells stripper costumes.
Okay.
Which that actually...
It's an industry that needs to happen, yeah.
And with what's coming up with the internet, that turns into a big thing. Like,
oh God, yeah.
Women make their own costumes on all that shit, and it's wild. So that's a big deal. So that could turn into something lucrative later. They even have the same birthday.
Oh.
They're both born November 13th. So
just 20-something years apart.
20 years apart. Yeah, 21 years apart or so. Yeah. But they're both born on November 13th.
It's a big deal.
And it's a big deal. And they had great conversations. Mm-hmm. They talked. He liked that she talked to him about. They talked in detail and at length about his business investment that he made in a microbrewery in West Virginia. And he found her to be bright and knowledgeable and asking questions about it and seemed like a good person that he could go into business with, basically.
The two of these, she's designing unmentionables and he's got a microbrewery. They're both 15 years ahead of their time and they're going to be billionaires.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
They were so smart, James. God damn it.
Well, let's just, you know what? Let's predict right now. Let's extrapolate what you've taken now and let's project it to 2022. Uh-huh. Where is he and where is she right now?
She is the CEO of La Provocateur, and he has a microbrew that was bought by Budweiser, and he has billions of dollars.
Okay, and then he went in on Theranos with Elizabeth Holmes. And then
No, they take this money and they move to Ireland, buy a fucking giant place on the Emerald Isle, and they fucking live forever like queen and king of the Blarney Stone. That's
a hot shit story.
That could happen from here. That's not even far-fetched.
Let me ask you one thing, though. Has that ever happened on our show before?
Never once.
No. Probably not.
It's not even far-fetched sitting in 2001.
It's not, though. It feels like it could happen. Yeah. It's at their fingertips. Yeah. The future is here, damn it. So this goes on. Even they talked about, he also talked about his work a little bit, but not much. He works at Fort Meade. He does, Army shit.
Were they gold and shit?
He's a civilian contractor for the Army in counterintelligence. So they have a lot of that. So when he got out of the Army, he was in the Army for a long time doing that. As soon as he got out, they hired him as a civilian, which they do all the time. That's kind of how that kind of person goes.
Paycheck.
Genius. Yeah, they've trained him for 20 years, so they're however long, so they want to keep him.
Send him off to retire and die? No.
Yeah, so that he's now not in the private sector, but he's a civilian doing this. So he took her there actually too at Fort Meade, and even invited her into social situations with his friends. Hey, we're gonna all go do some stuff.
Where? No.
She always refused the social situations with the friends, though. She thought this
is embarrassing.
It's a little weird. Yeah, he's like, they're like, "Where's your wife?" And he's like, "No, this is my friend that I met. This is Bunny 469."
Don't worry, there's nothing weird happening.
It's cool. No, I met her on a site where you have to pay to see her tits. It's totally fine. And then, and we're friends. So over the next 18 months, up until January 2001, he also, like I said, pays her rent, pays for Catholic school for her 2 children, private school for her kids, which the private schools around there outside D.C. are expensive. Yeah. The car, a credit card, like I said, breast enhancement surgery she got as well. And also he's trying to help her with her custody dispute with her former boyfriend as well with her kids. So that's going on. Over the course of 18 months, he spent about $450,000 on her.
Over the course of how much?
18 months.
1 year and 6 months.
Year and a half.
$500,000.
$450,000.
Holy shit.
In 2000 money, too. So that's
crazy.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money now. Don't get me wrong. That's
crazy.
Shitload of money. If I spent that on anything, I would really hope to be receiving something that's worth at least that.
That's like $700,000 today, right?
It has to be. That's so fucking much money. Jesus Christ. That's like a giant house. So
it is.
He $450,000, and he's trying to help her with this custody dispute. So he's doing a lot of things for her, a lot of favors for her and stuff like that. And still, from what we understand, no sex is going on.
She has zero intention of making him a significant other. Zero.
No. And that was the agreement, though, from the start. Yeah. When he got into this, he said, "I'll give you money." And she said, "I won't fuck you." Yeah. 469 or not, I'm not 460. I'm not 469 with you. That's the difference. That's what we're dealing with. I might be 469, but with other people. So, hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on your, every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
By the summer of 2000, Larry Bill decides, damn it, I need to profess my love to Bunny 469. I am going to,
dude.
I'm going to let it fly.
450 deep. She knows.
Yeah, well, but maybe she thinks that I'm happy with this arrangement. So okay. I am going to go to the deep recesses of my soul, and I'm going to bear it to her. And maybe she's been feeling the same way, but just hasn't had the guts to tell me.
Larry Bill needs a friend.
Larry Bill is out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, he needs a pal like you.
Did you hear how ridiculous that sounds?
Yeah.
That would be my response. Did you hear yourself just now? I'd take him, sit him down on the couch, and I'm going to say to you exactly what you just said to me in the exact tone, and then you tell me how you feel about it. How fucking stupid I sound. Let me tell you. That's how you need a comic friend who's like, bro.
Yes.
A cynical person who's going to make fun of you to the point where you go, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize I was that easy to make fun of about it. You're right. I'm totally wrong.
And at the end of the conversation, I would look him straight in the face and go, you have a wife. Does she know all this? And if the answer is no, then why are you hiding it?
How the fuck did you hide spending $450,000 on your side chick who's not even your side chick? How did that fly with the wife?
When your wife finds out, what is she going to do?
Small town murder, probably, I would assume, right? Maybe. No.
And
that's
she
not
is
going
to stand in the front yard and wait for the cops. She can't wait.
She's going to be the family in Woodbridge, Virginia that person was writing a review about as furniture flies out the front door. That's why. That's why it wouldn't settle down. $450,000. So he would appear by summer 2000, though. He professed his love and all this type of shit. Then he started doing weird shit. Like he'd just pop up at her house at odd hours unannounced.
Nope.
11 o'clock at night. Hey, how's it going? Like, what the fuck? He'd make weird, elaborate excuses to see her. I left a shoelace at your house. It's got to be under your couch. Let me look for it. Just dumb shit. Yeah, it popped right out of my shoe while I was sitting there. The whole thing.
I'm out of toilet paper. Can I come over?
Can I come over? Get just 5 squares, maybe, just enough to tide me. So he'd do all of that. He got her to meet him in West Virginia on some weird, pretense of some business thing that turned out to be nothing. So he's trying to get her to forcibly be his girlfriend, sort of in a way.
Not good.
But he's not sexually forcing himself on her at all. He's just kind of forcing himself in a stalking manner.
He's trying to present himself as the sweetheart that's always around, but it looks fucking creepy.
If you're not invited somewhere, that means that someone didn't want you to be there. Otherwise, they would have told you or asked you to be there, probably.
Right. Ben Stiller and Along Came Polly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They know $450,000 means I like you.
She's very well aware.
Yeah, and I don't think she thinks, I don't think that 51-year-old man would fuck me, though. Even though I'm a 30-year-old stripper and he's a fucking, a married 51-year-old man who's giving me $500,000. I don't think he'll fuck me if I ask him to. Yeah, right. She knows.
I take my clothes off and people give me money because I'm hot. There's no way he wants to fuck me.
And now my tits are bigger, by the way. Did I mention that? Because he bought them for me, so I got bigger tits now, too. She knows. Yeah. So Robert Finch is her ex, okay? Her ex-boyfriend. Robert Finch, he's also 30 years old. They've been in a bitter custody dispute for quite a while now. Sure, that was one of the things that, because they met in 99, by 2000, late 2000, it's still going on.
Yeah.
So it's, a couple of years of this thing, and that was one of the things she was trying to get help with him from Larry Bill about. Mm-hmm. So Robert Finch, has a girlfriend that they live together, and she has 2 children, and her name is Dana Thrall. She is 25 years old, Thrall, there. And they are getting their lives together, these two, and doing a good job of it, actually. They bought a $335,000 home.
Wow.
Which is a nice back then. And even now, that's
crazy. Yeah, it's beautiful.
We gave you a house you could buy for that price in Virginia right this minute. 20 years ago, you could get a really nice house for that. So they bought they're building it for themselves.
Oh, shit.
That's what it costs to do. That was the mortgage they took out. he looks like he's ready. He's poised to win this custody battle as well. Yeah. Because he's got a more stable environment. He's building a house. His business is doing well.
Paper. Yeah, he's doing fine.
Yeah, she's like, well, I got this guy.
Larry Bill gave me $450.
Larry Bill bought me a Jeep. Like, well, that's not. It's tough to show on paper in a court of law to say that. So he thought he was going to win. He had a contracting business called RF Enterprises Inc. And he said he had a plan for it was going to take 2 years to take, and it just shot out of the gate and took off like crazy.
Wow.
So he's had to scramble to keep up with all the business, to hire more people and buy more trucks. And American dream right now for this guy.
Beautiful.
So it's going great. So Robert is the firstborn of his family. His father would later say, quote, "We had the normal family problems, I believe, as far as growing up was concerned. Robert was a person that tended to be more or less to do his own. He'd be his own type of person. And, of course, that takes after his father because I grew up that way also." So that's his dad saying. That's what his dad's like. He said Robert had done a great deal toward pulling his life together and getting it on the right track. He's been together a long time with Dana Thrall, and the father says, quote, "They were living together and I believe engaged to be married. They were in the process of building a house that they would be living in. His business had been growing quite readily, and they were both actively involved in this as Dana was working at Fairfax Foods at the time and involved in a pretty good life there." So they're doing well for each. He's got a business, she's working, they're both making money, they're building a house together. They're going to have a nice family. This is great. Good for you.
This is what he envisioned with Bunny 469, and that obviously didn't work out, so he figured it out with Thrall.
He figured it out with Thrall, because we don't know what's going on with Bunny, but we'll talk about her.
Okay.
So the father goes on to say, "Robert was doing his level best. I thought or felt at the time to put his life back on track and go from there. Robert, prior to this, on several occasions, had come up to us and said, quote, 'Dad or Mom,' whoever was there, 'if ever something should happen to me, go to Rebecca because look toward her, okay?'"
Because you get it.
you know what's up with her, Bunny 469. So this is Dana Thrall. This is her dad talking. They said, quote, "Dana and Robert Finch met when Dana moved into one of my rental homes, which was across the street from Finch's residence."
That's adorable.
Isn't that nice?
I love it.
Robert Finch was a former boyfriend of Rebecca Gregg and the father of her 2 children. Rebecca Gregg and Finch were engaged in a custody dispute for which the final hearing was scheduled for the first week of January 2001. Dana and Robert Finch were planning to build a $300,000 house. Dana told me they were moving into this new house, and Robert was doing well in his company. But when I looked at their financial papers to help them, I couldn't understand where the money was coming from. Robert wasn't earning the sort of money needed to buy a $300,000 house. He had 8 people working for him, each with a mobile phone and 2 or 3 vans. Robert also had a new pickup truck. His company assembled products for Home Depot and Lowe's and other companies. He would typically charge them $25 to assemble a barbecue. That's not a lot when you have a guy drive over there to do that.
I'm going to come over with my gas, build your barbecue, and leave, and you're going to give me $25?
That's not a way. You can't. That's not a business. But back then, too, that was during the .com shit where there was all sorts.
I figured it out, James. What if he goes to the Home Depot, builds like 10 of them, and then fucking dips? If you do that, you can make some money.
I guess, but you'd have to know how to do it really fast.
You build 2, James, and you're so good at it.
I guess so. So $25 per barbecue, I guess you could do that. But that's still not... Anyway, the guy goes on to say everything he had for his business, the computers, the trucks, was guaranteed by Dana. All Robert had was debt. All the loan papers for the new house were in Dana's name.
Oh.
So, that's not great.
That's not
cool. And he's also engaged in this custody battle that's going on. And while they're engaged in this custody battle, like we said, Larry Bill is here to help.
Yeah.
He's going to help Bunny 469 in any way possible, obviously. From a cell phone to tuition to private school for your children. I mean, it's anything in between that falls into that, including surveilling your ex to get dirt on him in the custody battle. I'll do that. Oh,
personally?
No, he's doing that. Oh, yeah. Well, he's a counterintelligence man, so you want somebody to... Yeah. He's the guy to hire. So Larry Bill tells Bunny 469, let's call her.
Never call her Rebecca.
That, I mean, when you say your name's Bunny 469, that's your name now. Said he told her he was investigating Finch and videotaping him as evidence for court hearings. So he's been playing like unhired private investigator, basically.
Creepy.
Just a freelance private investigator who does shit on spec and then goes, look what I did for you.
Here's 20 grand.
Imagine if somebody came over, knocked on your door, and was like, I filmed your ex-wife. Give me money. You'd be like, the fuck out of here.
Well, worse, if they came over and said, I filmed your ex-wife, here's 20 grand.
Yeah, that's true, too. Here's a bunch of money, okay? All right.
Here's the keys to that Cherokee out front.
Your kid's tuition all paid up to due? Because if not, I'll come on over and cut a check. I have no problem doing that. So the investigation that he had, now she said she wasn't sure if it's true. She didn't see the tapes ever, is what she said, but she said the whole thing scared her because she wasn't asking him to do that. Yeah. She said that the investigation, as he called it, included basically prowling around Robert's property more than 100 times. Yeah, or as he called it, quote, using his vast experience in surveillance to watch Finch at Bunny 469's behest.
How good is he at this? Because if somebody's on my property 100 times, I'm going to catch you. Right?
By accident, especially because Robert has a large mastiff named Naughty.
How does Naughty?
You are
the worst watchdog ever.
I have two mastiffs. Are they going to fucking... Oh, God, no.
Benny won't let you... Yeah, Benny won't let you sleep if there is somebody doing yard work 3 houses down.
No. And Frankie's looking for blood always from anything and any body creature she can get at. She's like, I'll kill it.
There's a deer 2 acres away. I'll go get it for you.
I'll be back in 3. Give me 3 minutes with him. That's how my dog is, Frankie. She's a killer. She's wild. So anyway, 100 times in the neighborhood here. Mm-hmm. So he said that Larry Bill told everybody, listen, what I'm doing isn't weird. I'm trying to help her. I'm looking for evidence of drug use. So I can bring that up in the custody hearing and help Bunny out here. So this is what ended up happening. So he's got a townhouse where he lives with Dana. Dana's 2 kids, dog Naughty, and that's Robert Finch's life. And he's got...
wandering around the outside constantly.
This guy constantly prowling around the outside of the house, trying to record him doing some sort of drugs. So this is a nightmare.
Some weed.
Yeah. Just sniffing like my grandmother. Yeah. God, we brought up our grandparents a lot. Sniffing for weed, getting tagged on the counter, it's all there. So wanted to show that he was an unfit father. That was the whole deal. And so Larry Bill said, quote, there was an obsession here. The obsession was between Robert Finch and Rebecca Gregg, and the obsession was to win. They had to beat each other. So that's what he called it. That's the real obsession. Now, I'm not obsessed with her. They're obsessed with beating each other.
It's not me.
Not me. Larry Bill followed Robert dozens of times. Larry Bill doesn't know. Robert's never met Larry Bill, so he wouldn't be like, why is Larry Bill behind me? He doesn't fucking know him. So he can pop up in public places and shit, and he'll never recognize him. They could go, you know what I mean? He could watch him in a restaurant. He's not going to know him. He doesn't know him.
Eventually, right?
I would imagine.
Wouldn't you notice if the same guy happens to be around all the time? I
think so, but I mean, how often would you have to really concentrate on a stranger before you go, I see you all the time? I'd have to be positive I saw him 5 times before I would say that, right?
How Magoo are you, James?
I don't look at people. I don't care. If you're staying away from me,
I don't know, man. I'm so scared.
If you're staying away from me, I don't give a fuck who you are. Come in my radius, and you got my attention. But if you're across the street or something,
that's
I don't
a good point. Yeah,
I don't care what the fuck you're doing. And I think this guy's busy. He's got a business. He's got little kids in the house. He's building a house. He doesn't know who the hell's. He should notice people wandering around his property 100 times.
There you go. Yeah.
That's something. So Larry Bill would circle the neighborhood doing what he called spot checks. And he would go to the house when Rebecca thought that Robert might be there at the house to film him. Larry Bill says, quote, I was trying to help her. There was nothing I felt strange about. I never saw Robert Finch do anything that was illegal or inappropriate.
Yeah.
So while he's stalking this man, if you've stalked him 100 times and you've never seen him do anything inappropriate, I think it's time to go. I don't think he's up to anything. I think he's on the up and up, this fucking guy. Right?
I'm out 450 and she's snowing me, clearly.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Rebecca, though, Bunny, says, quote, he always knew too much, meaning Larry Bill. I knew he was following me around, and I told him to stop investigating Robert. I got to the point where I didn't want any contact with him. She wanted to cut off contact with Larry Bill. She said she started avoiding his calls and taking trips without telling him where she was going. And she said in early January here, the first couple days of January 2001, she was returning from a vacation to Florida that she took with her children. So she wasn't even around on January 2nd, 2001 at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Had no part of anything. So 4 a.m., the morning of January 2nd, 2001. Mary Bracewell, who is a newspaper delivery person, was driving her route in the Woodbridge area here. She was aware that she had heard there's been a bunch of vehicle break-ins in this neighborhood. Okay. Maybe from the paper. I don't know how she would know that otherwise. Yeah. It had to be the paper.
She seems to be in possession of some pretty good evidence every
She's
morning.
Got news in her hands. So she said while she was doing her route, she became suspicious when she saw a man standing beside a pickup truck parked on Belfry Lane. She said she observed the man, who appeared to be carrying a flashlight. It's 4 in the morning. That's suspicious. She observed him walk to the north end of Belfry Lane, cross the street, walk onto a grassy area between 2 townhouses, then disappear from her view.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So you see a guy outside with a flashlight. He goes into a backyard. What do you do, Jimmy?
I know the right answer is call the cops, but I'm getting the fuck out of there.
I shrug my shoulders and I go, none of my fucking business, and I throw the next paper. I don't know if that guy's left something in his goddamn car. Maybe he's got to work at 5 in the morning and he just got up. I don't give a shit. I don't know. I don't care. He wasn't covered in blood from head to toe, so none of my goddamn business, right?
Is the flashlight on? Because that is a beacon of I'm here, so that doesn't look so... If a man is carrying a flashlight and it's not on and he's like slinking between houses, I'm more worried about that man than the guy with the flashlight that's on.
That's on, yeah. He's like, hi, looking for something.
Right.
But I assume maybe it looks like he was like looking around in his trunk for the flashlight maybe or something like that, or looking in his car. Either way, she sees all of this and immediately calls the police on her cell phone. Wow, that is a vigilant newspaper woman. Holy shit. I couldn't imagine doing that. That's so out of my...
Yeah, Tribune doesn't pay you enough, lady.
She's trying to make news. That's what she's doing. Maybe this will be on the front page. So 4:15 a.m., 15 minutes later, Officer Marshall T. Daniel of the Prince William County Police Department receives a radio call directing him to respond to the call. He arrives at Belfry Lane 3 minutes later. Bracewell, the newspaper woman, indicated here that the parked pickup truck that is over here. That's what I observed. I saw this as the truck. The cop noted the pickup truck, looked at it. It was locked. Saw that it had a Department of Defense windshield identification sticker on it.
DOD, yeah.
But that's all. It's in suburban Washington, D.C. Any of these government agencies on a car sticker, that's so fucking normal. That's half the cars probably. So he noticed that and saw that there was a cell phone on the passenger seat sitting there. So at 4:27 a.m., this Officer Daniel received a call to respond to a report of a domestic disturbance at a townhouse. That was the address was 3406 Jousters Way, which is about 300 yards north of where they are right now.
Oh.
So it's right there. It's right in this area. So the two streets don't intersect, but you can see, you can walk there. Just walk up to the next street. Yeah, walk from there. So walk up and over, I think, one. So they walk in the same direction and the Bracewell woman, that's the direction she said she saw the man from behind the pickup truck with the flashlight walking, toward the domestic disturbance. Now, Tina Miller, who lives in an adjoining townhouse with that address where the disturbance is filed, she made the report of the domestic disturbance. She called the police after being awakened by a crashing sound coming from the address at about 4:20 a.m. She made the call, and then she heard 3 or 4, quote, hollow sounds followed by what she's called, quote, the most horrible scream she'd ever heard.
Those are gunshots, love.
And a horrible scream.
Yeah.
Those all go together bad. Yeah. This is the time you call the cops, by the way.
There you go. There's the answer.
This is the time someone is in desperate need of medical attention. This is when you call the cops. So she thought that the screaming voice possibly sounded like Dana Thrall, because she knows her, because she lives next door, and they've talked. So Tommy Young, who lives in a townhouse on the opposite side of the street, was walking his dog in front of this home, or in front of his home, which is just right across the street on a sidewalk in a small street, about the same time that this happened. He heard 2, quote, loud banging noises coming there, followed by the sound of a female scream, and then 3 more banging noises. So one said 3 or 4, he said 3. This all lines up here. Everybody's hearing the same thing, which is rare because a lot of times people hear completely different things. So more banging noises, female screams. He went back to his house and told his wife to call the police. Mm-hmm. He's like, I want to call the cops, but I'm not fucking talking to anybody.
Right. You talk to the cops.
You talk to him. So a few minutes later, Tommy Young looks out his front window and sees that the front storm door of the condo in question, which had earlier been closed when he was out with the dog, was now open and swaying back and forth.
Oh, God, that's the most haunting visual
That's
ever.
Very haunting. Thumping, screaming, and then 4:30 in the morning, a storm door blowing in the wind. Oh, no. What happened in there? There's like Tales from the Crypt happening in there, man. I don't like that.
That is a horror movie.
Oh, my God. So also noted that the front window shades of the home, which are normally about at least half open, were fully closed.
Uh-huh.
All right. So now what the fuck went on inside that house?
I'd love to know.
Okay, now, Robert Finch, in the end, was shot 3 times.
Oh, boy.
Dana Thrall was shot 5 times.
Holy shit.
Including 3 gunshots to the head, 1 to the chest, and 1 that went like through one of her fingers where she might have grabbed the gun and it got shot like that. Also, Dana had been beaten severely over the head, and we'll talk about why, and then shot again. That's how this whole thing happened.
What the hell, man?
Now, there's different theories on what happened here, okay? Finch was shot. First, they say they think Finch was shot after he opened the front door, which if someone knocks on your door at 4 o'clock in the morning, are you fucking opening it or what? Well, you might be likely to just open it because you think there's some kind of crazy emergency.
Right.
Is there a meltdown at the plant? Like, what the hell's going on?
Is my house on fire? Are you trying to tell me?
Hey, everybody, run for your lives. There's a shit cloud coming. Like, maybe it's one of those things. So they say he was shot after first opening the door. Then, and he's shot, well, we'll talk about where he's shot, because then he ends up dying by being shot in the back of the head, execution style, after being shot a couple of times. Then Dana Thrall appeared at the top of the stairs.
Yeah. They
believe that Thrall came down the stairs toward the shooter because that's where the only phone in the house was downstairs. So she said they think that she came down. Now, at some point, they think he ran out of bullets during this. He's got a revolver. They think he ran out of bullets, so he beat her over the head with the gun.
And then while she was unconscious, reloaded?
Then while she was, getting, down and out from this, he reloaded his gun and shot her a lot more. She was shot 5 total times, 3 to the head. So he dumped 3 in her head afterwards there. So the police never recover the gun, but they do end up finding a drop of blood on a back gate that doesn't belong to anybody that lives in the house.
So he's cut or something?
So, we'll talk about that. Now, they have that theory. They also say, though, and this is like in the same breath, sometimes during the same trial, that this is really odd, that somehow they think the assailant managed to get into the house, that there was no front door interaction, and that Robert Finch was shot in the chest as he came down the stairs to see what a noise was, and then in the back of the head when he came down, when he got down there. Shot, fell down, back of the head execution style. Then they think that from all the commotion, Thrall came to the top of the steps and ran downstairs to see what was going on. That's when she was shot till he ran out of ammo, beat her with the gun, and then shot her again.
My Christ, what a scene.
That's the theory of what happened. But they don't know exactly, like I said, if he opened the door for him or if this person broke in. But there's no sign of forced entry.
Okay.
But the back door, the doors, like a back door will have like the handle lock. It's a little twist, and then it has a deadbolt.
All right.
The deadbolt was open, which is not normal, but the bottom lock was locked.
Okay.
So, like, somebody could have pulled that closed on the way out and locked
it. Could have been unlocked when he went in and then threw the lock when he closed it. I can see it. Yeah.
That could happen. So, this is a fucking scene. There's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
The scene from him beating her and the blood, so there's just blood all over the walls and ceiling.
My God.
And
James, there's children in this house.
Yeah, I was just going to say, by the way, there are 2 children in this fucking house.
Oh, my God.
Okay, now that's the thing that happens here. The cops show up. Officer Scott Bigger shows up and arrived at the place at 4:25, knocked on the front door but got no response. Daniel, the other officer who was responding to the newspaper woman, he shows up a minute later here and walks around to the back of the townhouse. The backyard's enclosed by a privacy fence, and the officer could hear a large dog in the yard outside barking pretty hysterically and pretty angrily, and it's a fucking mastiff.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to get near that.
That's some shit you pay attention to. You're like, oh my God, that's a 130-pound animal with
killing
sharp
machine.
teeth. Yeah, that's dangerous. That thing is like a zoo animal getting out right now. So the officer goes back to the front of the home, and they finds out that the first officer still hasn't gotten any response to the knocking on the front door. They look between a gap in the shades in the front window, and that's when Officer Daniel's able to see the legs of a person lying motionless in the entryway of the home.
Probable cause, right?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. Now, this ended up being Robert Finch, who ended up, that's whose leg you could see. Finch with the gunshot wounds like we talked about. The Officer Daniel immediately returned to the back of the home to secure that area because now we got a possible murder or some terrible person that could be running out of the back and getting away. So, and called for backup, obviously. More cops come. Daniel returns to the location where the pickup truck had been parked now.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, shit, I better get back to that pickup truck. Maybe that was blah, blah, blah. When he gets there at 4:38 a.m., the truck's gone.
Oh, my God.
Truck's gone. They didn't leave anybody with the pickup truck. So
why would they do that?
Newspaper person went around there. They didn't even say, hey, Mary, will you hang here for a minute? Hey, Mayor, watch this truck for a minute. We'll tell.
Be right back.
We'll tell your dispatcher why the paper's late this morning. None of that shit.
I put in a call for another person to come here, but until he gets here, hang here for me, Mayor.
Nope, they left, and truck was gone at 4:38. So think about how close all that is, all right? Now, the officer, Sheldon R. Creamer?
Yeah.
My God. One of the officers who'd responded here to the call, he showed up at 4:45 p.m., He entered the home and heard a muffled breathing sound coming from the kitchen at the back of the home. Okay. On the ground, he finds Dana Thrall shot and lying in a pool of blood, but alive. She's still alive after all that.
Holy shit.
5 times and a beating. Blood everywhere. He goes, holy shit, they call emergency medical personnel. They're trying to help her.
The toughest chick on earth is in here. Get in here.
Get in here. Holy shit, she's badass.
Yeah.
The fucking ambulance, they get a helicopter, the whole deal, and, all of this sort of thing. She suffered, like we said, defensive wounds, multiple gunshot, 3 to the head, 1 to the chest, blunt force trauma to the back of their head with a pistol whipping from a revolver. They noted that the back door, like I said, doorknob locked, but the deadbolt was not engaged. They could hear the dog in the backyard. They went into the yard from the kitchen, and they found the dog had calmed down, and they said the privacy fence area was secured with a locked padlock in the back. So that was locked. It's at this point, while they're outside checking the padlock, Officer Daniel looks up at the house and sees out of a second-floor back window what appears to be 2 little ghosts in the fucking window that put their heads down again.
This place is a nightmare. What a haunting place.
Yeah, he goes, he freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they found out it's her 6- and 4-year-old sons who were hiding in the house while the cops looked around the house the whole time. Because they heard all that going on.
Yeah.
They probably went downstairs, looked, saw their mother in a fucking pool of blood, saw all this blood, went up and hid. Now they hear stomping around down here and men talking, so they probably hid. They heard people go outside. They look out the window and then duck down. Holy shit, they see us.
Yeah.
these poor kids, they ended up finding them. They're crying. They're upset. They're obviously horrified.
Yeah.
They removed them from the home. They end up being put with relatives who end up taking them.
Completely changed.
Yeah. Dana's still alive, though.
That's great.
She's still alive. Still alive. Now, they don't know what the fuck to do. The crime scene analyst here, we'll talk about that, collected bloodstain samples at various locations inside the house. They did DNA testing of the shit around the house, all the blood around the house, and confirmed the blood was that of Dana and Robert. Mm-hmm. They also found a blood stain on the inside of the privacy fence, inside of it. We'll talk about the DNA testing on that, but right away it shows that it doesn't belong to Dana or Robert.
Somebody jumped a fence.
It's an outside party. Doesn't belong to the kids, doesn't belong to Dana, doesn't belong to Robert. Nobody who lives at this house left that blood.
Did Naughty crack the case? I can't wait to find out.
And we'll talk about it here. Now, it's Officer Naughty. That's what that is. We're going to take you into the department, call you Officer Naughty from now on. So they do forensic testing of 10 bullets recovered from the autopsies and around the home. Jesus. And they confirm they were all fired by the same weapon, which they don't have. But they said they were used. It's a revolver type. The bullets were the type of gun used in a revolver.
Are they 38?
I believe they are.
Yeah.
So the firearms expert with the Virginia Division of Forensic Science said that because no weapon like that could hold more than 5 or 6 bullets. Yep. He was certain that's why there had to be a reloading in the middle of this because 10 bullets were recovered. Yep. So I'm thinking 5 and 5 probably. Yeah, it's one of those.
Emptied it twice.
Yep, that's there. So they said what they're going to do is they're tracing personal relationships in Robert's past and been interviewing people. They found records in juvenile and domestic relations court that showed that he was involved in a 5-year custody battle with the mother of his 2 children. 5 years. Identified in documents as Rebecca Gregg, and they were going to do that. These are a 6 and a 5-year-old boy. So since the one was born and the one was 1, they've been fighting. This is nuts.
Awful, man.
Yeah. So anyway, the police chief told the media the case is still wide open. We're working on a number of substantial leads.
I mean, the one's pretty obvious.
It's a pretty obvious lead, I would say here. They now have a theory that Thrall and Finch knew their attacker and let him into the house before this happened, which is a bad theory if they wanted to look at Larry Bill because they don't know Larry Bill. They don't know Larry. Now, the only thing is maybe he said, I'm a friend of Rebecca's. There's something with your kid, possibly.
Yeah. That
would make me open the door, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's possible. There's an emergency with your son. Who knows? That's that's something. This guy could probably get himself in a door. He's a 51-year-old guy. Doesn't look homeless. He could probably say something to get himself in the door. Even
intelligence used to work in the military. Now doing it as a civilian, it's pretty
some
easy.
bullshit. Yeah. Can I use your phone?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he did leave his phone in the truck, which I find interesting.
Right.
So, or that was his truck with the Department of Defense sticker there. So, they said that's what their theory is. They said that Finch had very few enemies and didn't really have a ton of friends, and they were starting their life over together, and they were making their own little Brady Bunch over here. And his friends said they bought a house big enough so that every child could have their own room. It's a tragedy the way this went down, obviously. So Robert's younger sister Jennifer, who's also a close friend of Dana, because they're like the same age, said that they're all very pissed off, obviously, and they said that they're trying to deal with it. But she said you can barely handle one death. But she said about Robert, he always wanted to be on top and be the best and to have the best for his kids. Everything he never had. It's just awful for it to end this way.
Samesies. That's just every guy, every day.
That is fucking terrible. So she also told police that Finch and Gregg had been involved in a custody battle. Mm-hmm. And so the detective went to Bunny 469's residence in Dale City, Virginia. Bunny?
Yeah.
Oh, Bunny. It's about 6 miles away from where Robert Finch was murdered. Yeah. She was not there, but there were 2 vehicles parked in front of the residence. One of the vehicles was registered to Larry Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, which might be one that he bought for her. So Greg returned to her home later that day, and detectives came back. Yeah. Now they asked around. She maintained Larry Bill is just her, quote, friend and business partner. She said, I don't know anything about the murders, but my ex, Robert, had a ton of enemies. So start there. A lot of people want to kill him.
I was out of town.
Absolutely. Now, on January 3rd, the detective here and two detectives travel to Fort Meade, where Larry Bill works as a civilian employee for the United States Army as a counterintelligence expert.
Yeah.
So the detectives learned that Elliot owned a pickup truck and wanted to determine whether that truck could have been the truck that was seen nearby at the crime scene. Uh-huh. Fair enough.
Are you telling me they didn't jot down the license plate of this truck?
This is incredible.
What
right?
the fuck?
Incredible, right? They're like, it's a truck, huh? Wow.
Why? Well, what the fuck?
I'm going to go look around, then I'll write the license plate later.
I get not writing down the VIN, but at least the license plate?
Why they didn't is because they thought that they didn't think the truck initially.
Yeah.
No, they didn't know there was going to be a murder right by there, but they thought initially the truck belonged to a potential vehicle break-in victim, not the robber.
Oh, gotcha.
They thought it was a guy looking with a flashlight. They saw a cell phone on the seat and said, well, he obviously didn't break in yet. He would have taken that cell phone. So that's why they didn't write it down. Then the light bulb went off. Oh, shit, that truck. What if that guy, blah, blah, blah. They went back. The truck's gone. So this was just... We don't get this a lot around here. You know what I mean? This isn't very common.
If there's a rash of vehicle break-ins and you see a truck with a very clear something that somebody would steal, wouldn't you write down the license plate just on the chance maybe somebody will steal this later and I'll be able to say, I saw that? Or
maybe I would if I wasn't called away by a domestic violence call in the middle of it also.
But still, at least glance at it.
It's just... The way it worked out is weird. I'm surprised the newspaper lady didn't write it down because she seemed pretty fucking nosy, right?
Nobody got the plate number.
Nope. So they said that the detectives learned that he owned a pickup truck and wanted to determine that. They located the truck in a parking lot at Fort Meade. The detective observed that there was a flashlight, a cellular phone, and a box of bandages on the seat of the truck.
Oh.
Not good, like someone who might have cut themselves on a gate.
Yeah.
So this is Detective Hoffman. He's taking photographs of the truck. As he does, Larry Bill approaches.
Hey, that's my
truck. I own that truck. He said, that's my truck. And they said, well, you want to talk to us? And he said, sure, Larry Bill will talk to anybody. I got a good heart and a hard cock. What can I help you with? How you doing? Larry Bill, good heart, hard cock.
Let's chat.
Vote Bunny 469. So Larry Bill tells the detectives that Rebecca was an employee at a brewing company that he owned in West Virginia. He admitted that he supplied her with a credit card in her name, but he said that it was for business purposes. She works for me. You know, what am I supposed to do? He also told them that he'd been traveling over the New Year's holiday, so had she, on separate trips, and that during that time he spoke with her several times on her cell phone, which he bought for her.
Yeah.
In an effort to arrange a business meeting with her after the holiday. So Larry Bill told the detectives he's aware that Rebecca and Robert were involved in a dispute regarding the custody of the children. He said that, Rebecca had traveled to Florida over the New Year's holiday, took her children with her. Larry Bill told them also that Bunny had told him that she was having car trouble and wouldn't be able to return to Virginia with the children in time to return them to Robert at 2 p.m. on New Year's Day, as she was required to do by the visitation agreement. So Larry Bill said he drove over to Rebecca's residence in the early afternoon of New Year's Day, quote, in case Robert Finch showed up so that Larry Bill could explain to him the problems Rebecca was having getting back. I'll show up and be a stranger explaining to him where his kids are. That'll go over well. Yeah. That's fine. Larry Bill said he denied any relationship at this point also with Rebecca Gregg, with Bunny, other than as her employer. He denied knowing Robert Finch and claimed, I think I saw him once, rather than I've been...
I think I've seen him once. I can certainly find him to tell him about, hi, I'm your ex's boss. I'm here to tell you where your kids are.
I'm here to tell you where your kids are. By the way, here's photographic evidence of you from the last year of doing everything. Here's your barbecue that you had. Here's you fucking your wife.
Holy shit.
This is crazy. So, yeah, this is all going on. He says he didn't see him. He didn't know him. Detective Hoffman told Larry Bill that his truck had been seen in Robert's neighborhood in the early morning hours on the day of the murders. Larry Bill denied he was in the area. Don't know which. It must have been a different truck with a Department of Defense sticker on it. He claimed, I spent the night of January 1st to 2nd sleeping in my truck at a rest area in Maryland.
Oh, that's not weird.
Where I have no alibi whatsoever. Sleeping in a truck in the middle of nowhere where no one looks at you unless it's to have sex in a bush. Perfect. Fuck out of here, this guy. He voluntarily accompanied the detectives to the police department, and during the course of the interview, he said that's where he admitted the true nature. He hadn't said I've been sugar daddying this woman for a long time. He just said he employed her. Now he tells the detectives he had initiated a relationship with her in mid-'99, saw her picture on a website. Oh, it was not the one. Where he found her was Adult Friend Finders.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Which I had a friend that looked on there. It was all totally gross stuff. It was like, if you're a guy who will, lick my butthole when I want you to, then I'm give me a ring. Otherwise, I don't need you. Non-butthole lickers while I eat and like weird shit. It was like weird fetish shit.
It's the least on the Up and Up website on the internet.
That's, I don't know in 99 if it was more on the Up and Up and it got worse.
The same.
Probably not. I'm going to say probably not.
Adult Friend Finder.
So I found her on Adult Friend Finders, and, she's looking for a sugar daddy. During their first meeting, she had told him that she worked as a stripper and a private escort, which he said to mean as a euphemism for a call girl or a prostitute, is what he told the police.
That's not a euphemism at all. It's right on the fucking nose.
It's just private escort. Means privately escorting you somewhere.
Mostly to hotel
Drain your balls. That's how it works.
What a dummy.
What a dummy. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So I said a private escort. I thought it was a euphemism. Now, he said that Bunny told him that she wanted to turn her life around, needed financial support, the whole deal. She told him, he tells the cop, she told him that she wasn't interested in a romantic or a sexual relationship. He said he agreed to the agreement. Exactly what happened. He said, and he even told them, all I wanted was friendship from her. Maybe it's some business acumen. So
I was taking the website very literal.
Very, very literal. Now, he talks about, I paid for the private school. The whole deal permits her to use his credit cards in addition to hers. She can use his cars whenever she wants. He paid for the breast augmentation. He paid for that. Also, she had begun operating a website at this point that he helped her give money to set up, which showed pay-to-watch porn movies. Right. So you could, an early thing here. Larry Bill admitted that his support of Bunny 469 had placed a significant financial burden on him and that he had to sell investments to pay her credit card debts.
Larry Bill.
So now he's dipping into his nest egg here.
401ks for this shit, you idiot.
He's probably investments, stocks or whatever. Right. So, which I guess
IBM
altogether. Yeah. So he then said that yes, he does know where Robert lives, because the day before he went over there with Bunny 469 in the afternoon on January 1st.
Yeah.
He drove there. He said, I didn't get out of my truck, but he said that he did see, he had seen, quote, a black man with a slinky walk going to the front door of the home. Huh. Larry Bill maintained that he had driven to a large retail store and had a restaurant before driving to the rest stop in Maryland where he spent the night. Okay. So despite owning multiple homes, he went to his friends, his sugar daughter's daughter's ex's house.
Sugar baby.
It's way creepier if it's sugar daughter, isn't it? I feel like I know the term, but I'm just saying sugar daughter is creepier, and that's what he's. If they're not fucking, it's a sugar daughter at that point. Yeah. So that's what I'm calling it. So anyway, went over there with that, then went to a store, went out to eat, and then said, "Well, I'm going to drive to a rest stop in another state and take a nap."
I'm going to do that.
And then sleep in my truck for the night.
I got a wife and kids. I'll be at the rest stop.
I'll be at the rest stop. So then he said that he drove back to Bunny's house at 3 a.m. on the morning of January 2nd to retrieve a case of motor oil that he saw there the day before. Because that's when I need motor oil. At 3 a.m. on New Year's Day, I need motor oil right now.
You know how much Castrol is, James?
That's a
find.
That's a case. I woke up from my rest stop slumber and said, I need motor oil, and just got in my car.
Castrol GTX, I'll be back.
Holy shit, Jesus Christ. So he then went to a convenience store where he called Rebecca's cell phone on a payphone. He claimed that he used the payphone because his cell phone's battery was dead. Uh-huh. So the telephone company records show that a call had been placed from that payphone to her cell phone at 3:28 a.m. Larry Bill then admitted after calling Rebecca, Bunny, he drove to Finch's neighborhood. He admitted leaving his truck. So he said, I went to the neighborhood. I left my truck where you said it was. I was there during the time of the murder because you saw it murder happen. But it's just a coincidence.
Not me.
Not me. I might have the murder on film, as a matter of fact, because I'm always taping him.
He put himself at the murder scene.
He admitted leaving his truck. Yeah. Claiming he only did so because he needed to take a leak, though.
Yeah.
That's why he went in a dark yard to take a piss.
Castrol thieving will make you have to piss.
Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. It gets you going. He stated that after urinating by a guardrail on the side of the road, he walked by Thrall and Finch's townhouse. He denied going onto the property and stated that he had not heard gunshots, a scream, or anything unusual. Well, they happened, so... At the conclusion of the interview, the detective took a photograph of an abrasion that was on one of his hands, cut on. He has a cut on his fucking hand as well. Uh-huh. And then they let him go.
What? How do you?
Yeah.
How do you not look the man in the face and go, "You're under arrest"?
They have no evidence directly. He was sort of there. At this point, you're going, well, he certainly did it, and we have to prove it, I think, right? That's what you're doing.
How does he not have a conscience looking inward and just going, I just told you so many things that makes me the guy. Obviously, I did this.
That was a terrible, terrible story I just told, wasn't it? Jesus Christ.
You don't believe it worked, right?
That didn't work at all, did it? Nope, okay. No, all right. Sure. All right, I get it. So January 4, 2001, the police said that this is the day that the police announced to the public that Dana finally dies from her injuries. Oh, no. So she lasts 2 days, and she dies from her injuries.
Chick, man.
That's tough, man. That's so tough. But
Horrific.
fuck, so now 2 more kids left without a parent. So now 4 different kids lost a parent that day.
Absolutely awful.
That's fucking horrible. So now Bunny, accompanied by her lawyer, is interviewed by detectives now. They want to talk to her. Now that's with a lawyer. They're investigating the deal here. During the interview, she admitted, yes, I did receive a telephone call early on the morning of the murders, but that call came from Robert, came from my ex, not from Larry Bill. She claimed that Finch called and threatened to call the police if she did not return the children to him that afternoon.
At 3 a.m. he did this.
At 3 a.m., despite having a phone in his house, he went to a payphone to call her to yell at her at 3:30 in the morning, 3:28 a.m.
Drop them off in 11 hours, I swear to God.
I swear to God, if you're not here at 2:30, 2:45, I'm going to fuck you up. She also told detectives that she did not believe that Larry Bill had committed these murders at all. That's ridiculous. On January 7th, they conduct another interview with Larry Bill. This is 3 days go by. Again, he admits that he was in the neighborhood that night, and they're like, well, so you've never been in his house other than the day before when you said you went there with her and saw a guy slinking in the house, and then that night you just decided I had to be there. That's what happened. And he said, not exactly. Larry Bill said, as a matter of fact, it's not just that night. I've been in that neighborhood, quote, hundreds of times.
Oh, my God.
Hundreds with an S.
Yikes.
He said, I walked through the neighborhood, I did all of that, but I didn't ever go on the property where they lived. I just went around it. So January 8th, the crime scene analyst took possession of his truck. Finally, Jesus Christ, it took a fucking week almost to get a search warrant for this thing.
The man said he was at the scene.
And they were like, nah.
We'll give it a couple of days.
Wow. He determined that the interior of the truck had recently been cleaned.
Of course.
Yep, noting that the carpet was wet and that the seats in the interior had been covered with a, quote, silicone-type base cleaner. Deep cleaned.
Yeah.
I don't know. They said the samples collected from the underside of the truck's floor mats showed a trace of residue of blood, though the samples were too small for accurate DNA testing. A further blood sample found in the seat cushion was consistent with Larry Bill's DNA, which... Yeah. If you had a car for a couple of years, your blood's in there somewhere.
Oh, that sucks.
You came in, you know what I mean? You know that's true. You've dinged your finger when you're doing something, and you not an OJ.
Traffic and got a nosebleed.
If a crime scene unit went through your car, they're finding your DNA all over the fucking place in there.
Realization ever.
You know it. So if they ever say Jimmy's DNA was found in his truck seat, just understand that's pretty common. So
I've had this car a long time. Leave me alone. It's just sweat. Shut up.
It's just sweat. Now, it's at this point that when they test his DNA and all that, they go, oh, he matches the drop of blood from the back gate.
Uh-oh.
Now, they don't have much physical evidence because they called Larry Bill a masterful criminal investigator who devoted his entire Army career to intelligence matters. That's what they said. Yeah. So they didn't expect a lot of energy because he's smart. A lot of evidence because he's smart. Right. So, what the fuck? He's even has top secret security clearance. He knows what he's doing. Oh, yeah. This guy's he's been doing his deal. So they got to bring Greg in again here. They got to bring Bunny in again here. And she continues to deny any knowledge of this. They give her a polygraph examination. And they said the first one's inconclusive.
Yeah.
So they give her a second one that they say she failed. They told her you're showing deception on the second one, and then she refuses to give a third one. Mm-hmm. That's how that goes. So, over the next several months, Bunny had continuing contact with police over investigation, but she did not provide any additional information about Larry Bill. Uh-huh. She has really no help at all. They also, police suspected that she was not being fully forthcoming, and they even told her that. We think you're fucking lying to us. Uh-huh. So it was all of that, whether she had the extent of the knowledge of the murders or whether she was directly involved. Either way, May 9th, 2001, 5 months, Larry Bill's driving in Maryland when he is pulled over for driving at a high rate of speed. And they say they were arresting him just because they thought he was trying to escape at a high rate of speed.
Okay.
In Maryland. They charge him with capital murder, okay? They said he said that he intended to turn himself in, actually. He had talked to his lawyer, and there was a big plan to turn himself in, so he wasn't trying to flee. He just likes to drive fast. That was his story.
I know the feeling, sir.
So that's how it goes. May 10th, the detectives interview. That's the second Bunny polygraph examination, and they told her that her responses to questions concerning the knowledge of the murders indicated that she was being untruthful, and she said, I want my attorney now.
Yeah.
After consulting with her attorney, Bunny told the police that the telephone call she received in the early mornings, okay, fine, it wasn't from Finch. That's why you're getting...
already.
That's why you're getting deceptive. She said, although initially she had assumed it was because the connection was not good, so she couldn't hear the caller clearly. It was all staticky. I thought it was him, but now that you polygraphed me and I talked to my lawyer, I decided it wasn't.
I thought it was really weird that he was talking about killing himself and his wife.
Super strange. Like, I'll kill them both. And I was like, you mean yourself? She then told them that the caller realized that she thought she was talking to Finch, and then the caller said that he was, quote, tired of this shit and was going to take care of it, and hung up on her. It's at that point that she realized the call must have been from Larry Bill, and she attempted to call his cell phone, but it was answered immediately by voicemail, dead battery, or turned off, whatever the fuck. So Bunny told the detective she received several more calls on her cell phone from Larry Bill on January 2nd. During one call, Larry Bill told her that, quote, all of our problems have been taken care of. In another call, Larry Bill claimed that, quote, Jerry, who's just a guy who Larry Bill said he knew through his work with military counterintelligence, had, quote, come out of nowhere to help him and that he had to go clean up the mess.
What?
Jerry's involved now. Later on, Larry Bill told Bunny that he was looking for a place to, quote, dump these bloodied black trash bags from the mess that Jerry had made.
Oh, Jerry Tim at work.
Jerry'd him up. Wow. So she also told police that she had not been truthful in her prior interviews because she was afraid of Larry, Bill, and Jerry. Now Jerry's involved. Larry Bill's scary enough. Yeah, Jerry, Jeff, and Larry Bill. Jerry, Ed, and Larry Bill. I don't like either one of them.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, so I'm afraid of now I got Jerry to worry about. Yeah. So, because one time Larry Bill told her that Jerry was watching her and that he would kill her or her family if she went to the police. That's what she says.
Larry is out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, well, once Larry Bill was in custody and the police had assured her that there is no Jerry to be afraid of, that's when she said she decided to be truthful when all the danger was gone, and that was okay.
She's been lied to now.
Now I feel put upon almost. Now I feel like
I've been taken advantage of. Yeah,
I'm the victim here. Now that I think of it,
I've been accepting all of this money and all of these gifts. I'm such a victim.
2 people are dead, 4 kids are without parents, but I feel like I'm the victim because I've been lied to. So she said that her attorney, confirmed that she had told him on several occasions that she did in fact fear Larry Bill. Oh, your attorney's vouching for you?
Right.
The person who is paid to have your best interests at heart and actually will get in trouble if they go against your interests? That guy? Wow.
Got paid to take care of you and back up your story.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Then there's an English investigator that comes along. Okay?
Oh.
He's a guy from England. But lives in America at this point, and he's a private investigator that works for his wife's law firm. His wife's
Pink
a lawyer.
Panther.
Yeah, there you go. Think Peter Sellers. So
it's another Steve Martin movie. Sorry.
I know, and more Steve Martin and Peter Sellers. There you go. So this guy says that he talked to Sergeant Hoffman and asked him about Rebecca Gregg.
Yeah.
And the sergeant said that Rebecca still remained a suspect in the murders as well.
Yeah.
He also said that Rebecca is a, quote, lying, conniving woman and that she is a co-conspirator in the murders. That's what the Detective Sergeant Hoffman told this investigator, according to this guy. Quote, he stated that Rebecca had the motivation from the beginning. Everything she did made Sergeant Hoffman more suspicious of her. That's what he says. When I asked him if he had a conversation with Peter Paris, one of Bill's former defense attorneys, to attempt to have Larry Bill give him evidence against Rebecca, Sergeant Hoffman conceded that he likely did. Because he wants to charge her with conspiracy to murder. He still believes she's involved with it. I asked Sergeant Hoffman about the results of her polygraph tests. He confirmed that the first test was inconclusive and the second showed deception. After the second test, she changed her story after Hoffman finished interrogating her. Hoffman took her out for a smoke. He said that afterward she changed her mind and told the most credible story. He said that he tape recorded the interview that night. He said that she continued to lie and be self-serving. He thought that no one believed her. Quote, I asked Hoffman why the police did not have Rebecca Gregg take a third polygraph test, and he told me a third test was not considered. When I asked him about the ethics of putting up a witness who he thought was lying, he responded that whatever, he knew what she was all about. Yeah. So they now talk about the collection of the evidence at the back gate. He said that there's missing photographs of the back gate, and that was a problem. Mm-hmm. Now, Bunny later on, talking about Jerry, the threat of Jerry, she said, quote, threats were made that people would get hurt if I didn't do what was expected of me.
Right.
Now, Larry Bill later said that he was tired of her ex-boyfriends, according to her, and said that Larry Bill, quote, wanted to know which one of my exes was keeping me from loving him. Okay. This guy sounds like the biker guy from Love After Lockup who loves Raylene.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he sounds like. It's pathetic at this point.
It's embarrassing.
It's fucking embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. You want to walk up and just open hand smack this guy across the face and go, you dumb motherfucker, stop. Jesus Christ. You're going to have to fuck someone your own age. I'm sorry.
It's just the way it
goes.
You're
going to have to.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You're not rich and famous enough to fuck people 20 years younger than you and have them not scam on you.
Or
you're just
handsome
not.
enough.
Or handsome enough.
You're nothing.
You need the trifecta if you're going to pull that off. Rich, handsome, and famous if you're going to pull shit like that.
Sorry, man. Get in my boat and let's row as we slay what we're allowed to.
You're what do you think, you're George Clooney?
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. It's not happening. You're not an international movie star. You have no Oscars. Eat dicks.
There's a ceiling. Stop it.
Yeah. So Larry Bill, he said that she thought that he was in love with one of her he thought that she was in love with one of her ex-boyfriends. Right. He also backs that up, that he said that. She claims, though, he went into a jealous rage and told her that he was going to, quote, take care of the problem.
Oh, boy.
So she says the conversation occurred just a few hours before they were killed, that Robert and Dana were murdered. So she said that when he called her later that he was a mess. He said, quote, police were swarming all over the place and he had to get out of there because he had blood all over him. He called her, according to her, like as he was pulling out of the place with blood all over him, trying to get away and, sneaking out with the truck.
Reporting that it's done. So why is she pretending like she doesn't know anything about it?
Super weird. She said all of our problems have been taken care of and we can get on with our life. And that's what happened there. Then she does a public interview.
Oh, you dumb bitch.
And she says, quote, the hardest thing I've ever faced, the thing that haunts me, is that that if I hadn't met Larry Bill Elliott, Robert and Dana would still be alive. I think everyone's life has been ripped apart by this.
Bunny, you were looking for this. What are you talking about?
Oh, my God. She said at times she was being considered a suspect, but that's just ridiculous. She said she had nothing to do with the killings and was devastated by them. She said that Dana was a good friend of hers. Mm-hmm. She loved Dana's children and that Dana was, quote, one of the nicest, most beautiful people you could meet. Now, according to documents here, Larry Bill claimed that he was at the house that morning to gather evidence against him for a court hearing, and that's how he cut his finger on the gate. He must have got it's how he bled on it.
Yeah, but you weren't on the property. Remember that story?
Well, maybe I was just a little bit, but just by the gate. And then he has a different story later on. Just I bled on it and left. I was like, I just like to leave my DNA places that are suspicious for police. That's all. So the Robert's parents now, okay, this is Robert Finch's parents, the murdered man. They said that that Robert Finch was murdered, all this, okay. Mr. Elliott's defense counsel did not speak to me about Robert, Rebecca, or Mr. Elliott. This is an affidavit, by the way. Or his case before the trial. In fact, the first time I was ever contacted by anyone was several months ago. If Mr. Elliott's lawyers or anyone else working on Bill's defense team had contacted me earlier, I would have told them all the information in this affidavit and would have testified in court if necessary. Okay. They don't call him this mother in the upcoming trial. Okay, this is the victim's mother. Mm-hmm. On the morning of January 2nd, 2001, at approximately 9:30 a.m., my husband and I went to my son's residence because my daughter had told us that she had been unable to reach either her brother or Dana on the phone. When we arrived, the street to Robert and Dana's home was blocked off. My husband parked the car and we got out of the car to see what was going on. The police approached us and said there was a problem but wouldn't tell us what happened. Oh, that's horrible. The parking lot in front of my son's home was filled with people. I saw police and reporters there. I knew that Rebecca was supposed to return the kids to Robert on January 1st. I found out when we went to Robert's on January 2nd that Rebecca had not returned. I knew that the Friday following the murders, which is January 5th, Robert and Rebecca were supposed to go to court for their final custody hearing.
Oh, my God.
3 days later, the police asked who could have killed Robert and Dana, and I said, without a moment's hesitation, Rebecca Gregg. Robert told me and his father if anything happened to him, Rebecca was involved.
Yep.
Robert and Rebecca both had violent tempers. Robert had attended anger management classes and learned to control his temper. Rebecca, however, when she got mad, was an evil person.
Yeah. When Bunny got mad, she got an adult friend finder.
That's what she would do there. On February 5th, my son came home from picking up his kids in West Virginia. Robert had been beaten badly.
What?
He had been hit a number of times in the face and had a black eye and injuries to his nose. It appeared these injuries had just happened to him. He blurted out that Rebecca's husband, Jamie Gregg, she's got an ex-husband as well somewhere, who's not fully out yet, fully off of her name and all that, had his cousins beat him in front of his kids, and that Rebecca had set it all up.
What the fuck?
Holy shit. Robert then told me the following about what happened to him. He had driven to Bartow, West Virginia to pick up his kids. When he arrived at where Rebecca Gregg was staying, the children weren't there, and she told him she was going to pick them up. When she returned with the children, she said she needed to get car seats. Normally, Rebecca let Robert take the car seats when he picked up the children. Rebecca offered to buy the car seats, and Robert gave her the money. Yes, so although the store was only 45 minutes away, it took 3.5 hours to return. A few minutes after she returned, a pickup arrived with 3 men, I'm sure in the back. Mm-hmm. One was Jamie Gregg, and the other was his cousin Lewis Ray, who was Ray Lewis's oxymoronic alter ego. Bizarro Ray Lewis.
That's what they called Ray Lewis in 4th grade.
That's what it was. Lewis Ray yelled at Robert and began to beat him in front of the children. There was no... There was no hospital in Bartow, so Robert had to drive 1 hour before he could report the incident and receive medical attention. Jesus Christ, that is some bullshit. They eat groundhog for breakfast there, I feel like.
Yeah.
During the investigation and before Larry Bill's first trial, my husband and I told Mr. Willett, who's his defense attorney, and Mr. Ebert about Robert being beat up in West Virginia by Rebecca's husband. We also gave Mr. Ebert pictures that were taken of Robert that showed the injuries. The prosecutors showed no interest in the photos or the fact that those who beat up Robert may have been the ones who murdered him later.
Okay.
That's a fair thing to look into, I would say.
That's legitimate.
3 people beat you half to death? Well, maybe they wanted to finish the job.
Right. Was there a truck nearby?
Yeah, right. Rebecca would say later on, she said that later on in court that her and Robert had sex in October of 2000, a couple months before the murders.
Yeah.
Now she says, this is what Rebecca said. So the mother says, I don't believe that Robert would have sex with her since they were having a heated child custody battle.
Right.
It would not be beyond Rebecca to use that against Robert. She would have turned it into a rape charge against Robert.
Wow.
Robert just wouldn't have taken the chance because he wanted his kids. He obtained, God, that's a shaky theory. He might have banged her. Who knows? It's, He obtained custody of the kids in June 2000 and was supposed to have them until August 2000. The court awarded Robert temporary custody for another 2 months. Rebecca was not happy about Robert getting the children or that he was building a house for Dana and that Dana and Robert were happy.
He didn't sleep with her.
And, that's what I mean. No an ex being upset that someone's moved on with their life and they're happy, super weird.
Yeah.
So Rebecca's, as a mother, wasn't going to let anyone have her kids, and she would do anything to keep her children. Mr. Blah, 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 that's a different person they're talking about here. So if Rebecca found this out, there was the hearing, right. There was a chance that Robert was going to get the kids. She wouldn't have let him have the kids. This is how I feel. She had to have something to do with Robert and Dana's murders. Bill Elliott's defense counsel did not ask me to testify during the guilty phase or later on, blah, 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 the guilt phase. So anyway, the father says the same thing. The father gives the exact same description of all of that, the two things, and then in the end said, quote, "It is my experience that Rebecca is an evil, evil person." Two evils.
Yeah.
She's going to keep on doing what she's doing because she feels she can get away with it and she can make money from it until somebody puts a stop to her.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to talk to that dad off the record. I want to hear all the horrible things he says about her.
Oh, my God, imagine. Well,
we would commiserate so hard.
You're right. I know. I got one, too. So the trial, Virginia allows for the death penalty for people who kill more than one person in a 3-year period.
Oh, shit.
So like a serial killer stopper almost. So he killed 2 in a night.
Yep.
So he is up for the death penalty as well.
Holy shit.
The prosecutor said in his opening, obsession can be a powerful thing. And that was his big thing. He was obsessed. Now, Larry Bill's attorney said that he simply became smitten with a, quote, cunning, manipulative, world-class fabricator.
Maybe true.
That's possibly true as well.
But doesn't make... defense does not make... You can't just say that.
Nope.
No.
One of his attorneys, Henry Aspbill...
Larry Bill and Aspbill?
Aspbill and Larry Bill. Larry Bill is my attorney, Aspbill. Henry Aspbill. He's a Henry Aspbill motherfucker. I'll tell you something what, boy.
His name's Bill, but that's a Henry Aspbill.
It's a Henry Aspbill, buddy. I'll tell you what. This is a mess. So this is getting confusing. He said his client had nothing to do with the killings and never stepped foot on the home and the property, even though his DNA is on the back gate. They said that they said Rebecca was on her way back from a Florida vacation. That's what the prosecutor's saying. She couldn't have done it, and all that kind of shit. They also talk about her phone call to her, and that's what they're going to try to say here. They also said that they asserted this is from that investigator that works for Larry Bill. They said in his opening, Mr. Willett, the prosecutor, asserted there was only one intruder and that the intruder fired 3 shots up the stairs, then fired 3 shots into Finch, whose body then crashed down the stairwell and landed at the foot of the steps, which is one of the theories. They don't have an exact theory of how exactly the order of when and where it happened. They don't really have that theory. They just think however it happened, they ended up dead and they think he did it. Right. They have A and C and they're assuming B based on those.
Yeah.
Willett, the prosecutor, said, quote, he had to pistol whip her into submission so he could reload and execute her. And he dumped 5 shots into her, so that makes perfect sense.
The only way to prove B is to admit you were there when it happened. So that puts a big burden on the defense. That hurts.
That's a lot. So both the prosecutor and the defense attorneys said that Larry Bill's hopes for a relationship with Bunny never materialized and that Bunny used him to pay bills and nothing else.
Yeah.
So Ass Bill said, quote, he was a lonely but gregarious, friendly, middle-aged fool. He wanted companionship more than anything else, and she saw him as an easy mark.
Yeah.
That's probably right.
I don't disagree with any of that.
They said that this is from that investigator again. The prosecution asserted Robert Finch was shot as he was coming down the stairs. There's no basis in evidence to support that conclusion, No blood from Finch on the stair carpet or on the stairway wall or banister. No evidence of damage to the basket at the foot of the stairs. Here, there's also no basis in evidence for the prosecution's assertions that the assailants fired 3 shots up the stairs at Finch. Rather, the crime scene photos, the location of the bullet wounds, the evidence that he failed to brace himself as he fell, and the powder burns on his clothing, that's close, indicating the assailant was close, all indicate that Finch was not shot in the stairway, but shot between the front door and the bottom of the stairs where he was found when police arrived. I'll buy that. None of that means that Larry Bill didn't do it, though.
Truth, yeah.
That's the thing. It's whether he shot him on the stairs or at the bottom of the stairs, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Verdict comes in. 5 hours of deliberation for this one. Just 5. Verdict comes in. Guilty as charged of fucking capital murder here. During sentencing, the state's attorney here, prosecutor, said there's no question that if Mr. Elliott hadn't gotten involved with Rebecca Gregg, 2 people would be alive today. But he killed them. To think about eliminating someone is what the death penalty is designed to prevent. Now, Dana's sister, Robert Finch's sister, Jennifer, who's Dana's friend too, said, quote, he looked right into Dana's eyes and beat the life out of her and didn't even care.
Worse,
that's what they said
during
sentencing.
Her kids were upstairs.
Oh, yeah, knew they were upstairs.
That's an aggravator, right?
It should be, right? She said that it makes me angry that he showed no remorse for what he did when the verdict was read.
Right.
This is during sentencing. Then this is Dana's older sister, said she doesn't believe that even a death sentence will change much for the family other than giving them some solace that the bad guy won't ever be out on the streets. Mm-hmm. She did say, quote, I want Dana's scream to haunt him.
Ooh.
That's a good line.
Yeah,
that's good shit there, because that would be good for him. Fuck him. Now, the defense team tried to put the blame on Bunny here, telling the jury that she wanted that Robert out of her life because of the custody dispute, blah, 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 blah. He says, quote, one of the attorneys said, quote, there's no question that Mr. Elliott fell in love with Rebecca Gregg, and a more unfortunate circumstance cannot be contemplated. This is a case that cries out on its humanness. It's completely understandable in human terms. It cries out for him to be punished severely and harshly, but it does not call out for the death penalty.
Okay.
The jurors deliberate for more than 10 hours over 3 days
for
this. They're fighting over it. And it comes back, you, sir, may fuck off, death penalty.
Yes, it's earned.
They give him the death penalty here. So he also receives life in prison for the murders and a mandatory 8 years in prison on weapons violations as well. So, Now, Rebecca, Bunny, she says, he told me at first he just wanted to help make my life better for my children, and what he actually did was tear our lives apart.
Oh, how dare you. You were for 69.
Well, I mean, there's no crime in that. If anything, I feel like he's getting off easy.
Yeah.
He's getting off easy.
Okay.
He won't have to live with this for very long, and we'll have to live with it for the rest of our lives. Once again, I'm the victim.
Wow.
She can find a way to have 2 people being murdered and a man being put to death as she's the victim. That's fucking wild.
Is she not arrested?
No. Not arrested at all. No, they never arrest her.
What?
He won't. I don't know what kind of hold. I don't know what kind of hold not fucking her has on him, but he never says that she put him up to it, and that's that. He won't say that she put him up to it because he won't admit he did it.
Wow.
Well, if he says she put him up to it, then he has to say he did it.
Yeah.
So he's got to say, I didn't do anything, and then therefore he gets to walk.
He called
her
before, called her after.
Yeah.
She was fucking involved, you guys. What the shit?
She didn't say, I should call the cops. I think he might have hurt them.
I am fucking floored, man.
So, within the next year, though, he is granted a new trial.
What?
After the the defense attorneys discover juror misconduct. Okay. They found out that it was in the final days of the 3-week murder trial when a friend of Larry Bill's claimed she overheard a juror. A friend claimed. These are 2 things. These are multiple separate, what is it? Degrees of separation. Yeah. You know what I mean? A friend of Larry Bill's claimed she overheard a juror talking about the case in the courtroom cafeteria. In a closed hearing during the trial, Diane DiGiovanni said that she heard the juror tell a stranger that Larry Bill had not taken the stand in his own defense and that her husband said that essentially meant that he was guilty. So she said, quote, he didn't even testify. And then she said, my husband always says they never testify. So there you go. Now, the juror here, who is a Jean Myers Articola of Manassas, told the court that she never said anything about Elliott's decision not to testify. She said, quote, he asked me what I was doing, and I was very reticent to reply to him. I should have just walked away and said nothing, I suppose, talking to that person. She acknowledged the conversation and that her husband testified that they also had a brief conversation about the case. The stranger who had the conversation with her said that they talked about Larry Bill not testifying, but she said that it didn't. Jesus Christ. So anyway, the judge said that the integrity of the verdict was hopelessly compromised by the jurors' misconduct.
New trial?
New trial.
Oh, my God.
She said the juror felt terrible. She said, I would have never said anything like that, and I didn't say anything like that. We did our jobs, and I'm confident he'll be convicted again. It was an extremely convincing case. So the reaction to this, his lawyer, Larry Bill's lawyer, said that, quote, Mr. Elliott is ecstatic. He has professed his innocence all along. He was facing the notion that he was going to die. Now he's back to being not guilty and presumed innocent. All right.
Yeah.
He's all good here.
Basically what the Constitution says, but, sir.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Holy shit. Now, Thrall's family said it's hard on us because we already told the boys the bad man won't be able to hurt them again. What do we tell them now? Now we're right back to the beginning, and we have to open all these wounds back up again.
Well, the good news is you don't have to tell them shit.
You don't have to.
Now.
I was going to say,
you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to tell them shit.
No.
Yeah, you can just go, yep, still bad man. He's still in jail. Right. Not like he bought a house next door. Now, Finch's sister said, we shut that door and it was almost behind us. Then, bam, we're slammed with it again. It's just killing us. It's horrible.
I believe it.
So, new trial, same great taste, basically.
Oh, my God.
Except Rebecca's got a new twist to her testimony now.
Oh, Bunny.
Bunny said that she testifies under oath that she and Larry Bill had sex. Well, this is what Larry Bill will say later. Okay. In my second trial, Rebecca Gregg testified that she thought that I had sex with her on the night before she was supposed to have surgery for breast augmentation after she had supposedly taken some relaxation medication. She said she was surprised that he would have sex with me without my knowledge and that he had taken advantage of me while I was not coherent, I guess under the medication. That's what she testified to in court in the second trial. He says her testimony is false. The event she described that night never happened. Since she claimed it occurred when she and I were alone together in a hotel room, I guess I'm the only person who could have refuted that testimony. But he doesn't testify. So he is found fucking guilty again.
Yeah. Now he's a rapist, too.
now he's been called a rapist in open court, and that's been codified by the judge, by the jury. So during the sentencing, the county attorney here, the prosecutor, said that Thrall's 2 children are still afraid and that, quote, this world would be a better place without people like Mr. Elliott in it. Okay. Dana's sister, who's now raising Dana's 2 sons at the time this was going on, said that the boys talk about their mother every day and have lived in fear that the bad man might someday return to get them too. Mm-hmm. In closing argument, one of the lawyers said that Dana's 9-year-old son wrote that Larry Bill needs to be punished. Larry needs to die for killing my mom. That's what he deserves. A 9-year-old said that. So Larry Bill speaks out in his own defense here after and during the sentencing phase. Mm-hmm. He cries, tears, sobs, blamed his murder conviction on lies and told the courtroom, lies told in the courtroom and on, quote, Gestapo tactics on the part of police detectives, and then criticized holes as big as a truck in their case.
Like a pickup truck with a Department of Defense sticker?
Parked out in front of a murder scene. He said he felt sorrow for the victims here, for their families, but he denied any role in their deaths. He said, quote, it is not humanly possible for me to have done the things I was accused of. Now, Robert's father, Finch's father, at this point does not believe Elliott's guilty.
What?
They completely get off the Larry Bill train, and he said they asked him to testify in this to the sentencing phase, and he says, quote, this is in a court deposition, but I'm not going to participate or I'm not going to allow myself to make a tragic situation any tragicer. Oh, that's what he said.
Okay.
Any more tragic, but tragicer. More tragic. Then he corrects himself. More tragic by, killing somebody, especially when I don't believe he's guilty.
What does he think happened? What's his theory? Because, come on, man, there's blood. What are you doing? His truck was there.
The defense attorney says, people think he's a nice guy. They call him the peacemaker. I mean, but they also call a 45 a peacemaker.
And those are vicious.
Those are vicious. He said, quote, we would all like to be judged not just on the worst day of our life, but on the totality of our life. And then he said, a death sentence is not going to bring anyone back. Love, rage, and jealousy won't go away. We're not going to scare us all out of what the dark side of human nature is.
Oh, my God.
And the prosecutor said she didn't make him kill those people. He had to have the ill will, the hate, the selfishness, and the cruelty to do what he did. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty again.
Good.
So, they said Rebecca Gregg talks about afterwards Bunny, if you will.
Yeah.
She talks about her third polygraph later on after that. She said she had a completely different attitude that day, and basically she was told she was being deceptive and she didn't appreciate that, but she said at this point, I don't think the jury was presented the whole story, but merely facts that were twisted. The trial left me asking more questions. She said, I didn't really believe that Bill Elliott had anything to do with the murder, but when he said the crazy stuff on the telephone that I told the police about, I took that to be something between Bill and his wife.
Oh my God.
I have a bunch of bloody rags and Jerry the murderer just did something. That's something between him and his wife. What are you fucking talking about? She switched her story 8 times.
It's too many times.
It's too many times. Larry Bill says, we've all made a huge mistake, everybody. Let's back up the train. He said, but I did not do it. I didn't do it, he says. I will emphatically say that I did not do it. This is, he tells the reporters after that. He said, I've been spending as much time as possible going over the information in the case, looking at the crime scene, trying to figure out what happened in that house. This is Larry Bill. I want to know who actually killed these people. I've teamed up with O.J. Simpson, and between us, we've started a company called the Real Killers Foundation, where we team up to find the real killers of falsely convicted people's murder victims.
This dick.
He said the sad realization is that it's a case that's so vile that there is a public outcry to have this resolved. And in that sense of urgency to solve the crime and to prosecute it, they totally missed the boat. I don't want to think it's possible that I was set up, but I think it's possible.
Lair.
Set up.
Lair. No.
He said, now he says the blood spot may have gotten on the townhouse back fence there because he said he was behind the house in December and may have touched the fence. He said it would have been long before the killings, but he explained the cut on his hand as I was at a West Virginia football game on New Year's Day. I went to the bowl game, cut my hand getting some kegs out of a block of ice.
I was putting some limes in my Corona.
And he has other counterintelligence people from the Army give affidavits to say they were there with him and saw him slice his hand with the fucking ice, or they thought it was believable or whatever it is. So anyway, he says that he wonders what his life would have been like if he had never met Bunny. He said, I fully admitted from day one that I'm guilty of having a relationship that I shouldn't have had. I'm guilty of providing a woman and her children lots of money, half of which was rightfully my wife's, but I'm not guilty of murder. He said, in that sense, the urgency to solve the crime, they just totally missed the boat.
Oh, my God.
Dana Thrall's dad, enter.
Yeah.
William Joseph Thrall.
Come on.
Okay? I attended both of Larry Bill's trials. During the first trial, I thought the prosecution's case was weak and factually insufficient to convict anyone of capital murder.
What?
This victim's father. I also thought the defense did a poor job on following through with theories. For example, during the trial, prosecution talked about Robert's very large mastiff named Naughty and how police would not go near the rear of the townhouse because of the dog's barking and aggressive behavior. But the defense never followed through and ask why anyone, especially Bill Elliott, was going to cross that back deck and climb over the locked gate with that huge dog lunging after him. During the second trial, the prosecution didn't put on any better of a case. But defense didn't put on much of a case at all. The first trial went 5 to 7 days. The second trial ended in 2 to 3 days. I could not believe how poor the defense was in either trial. Even if he was involved in some way, I am not convinced that Larry Bill Elliott was the shooter.
What is happening?
I believe the police investigation was inept and inadequate from the beginning. As Dana's administrator, I cleaned and repaired her townhouse after the murders. Absolutely. This was some small town shit. At one point, they interviewed somebody in a bar and drank beer while they did it. You can't drink beer while you interview people for a murder case.
I just got some questions for you. Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I'll have one too.
I'll have an IPA. Why not? He said, I found bongs and other drug paraphernalia at the house. Also, after the police released Dana's house, several of Robert's friends came over to the townhouse and went straight for the attic. I don't know what they were looking for or whether they took anything. Afterwards, I told the police that these guys went into the attic and that I had found drug paraphernalia. I asked the police how they knew the murders weren't drug-related. They responded that they were not going to pursue that avenue and that we have the man who did it, and they weren't going to do anything to help the defense. So, yeah, we're not going to cloud it up with more different things. We have a theory and we're running with it.
Viable suspect, yeah.
When I asked next about the house, how could Robert and Dana afford the house, the police didn't want to hear any part of that either. This is Dana's father, by the way.
Dana's father saying he was involved in drugs and selling drugs, and that's how they bought the house.
Yeah, they had Larry Bill, and that was it. Even though there was drug paraphernalia in the house, the investigators didn't want to look into it because, in their words, they, quote, didn't want to open a can of worms that would help the defense. Mm-hmm. They did not pursue the drug issues or the unknown source of large amounts of money, which may have supplied other motives for the murder. They set their sights on Bill Elliott and were unwilling to look anywhere else. Detective Hoffman called me 3 to 4 weeks after the murder and told me he wanted to take the back gate because they found blood on it. After they took the gate, I built a new gate and put it up. I've often wondered if there was blood on that back gate, why wasn't it taken on day one?
I don't
sense.
Disagree at all.
They just took pictures and a sample. I have not spoken directly to Dana's children, my grandchildren, as they were whisked away to California right after the murders. However, I have heard that one of the kids said he saw either a black man or a man wearing black running from the rear of the townhouse.
I believe.
Although the police talked to the boy, to my knowledge, the police never pursued this lead because they wanted to protect the boys. Also, at night, you don't know what.
Yeah.
Who's to say that pitch black out?
Who's to say that Larry Bill wasn't wearing black?
That's what I mean. You're wearing black and it's nighttime. You don't know what a 6-year-old sees. Yeah. I saw a guy. You don't know.
It's 3 a.m. Everything's black.
That was, ladies and gentlemen, my partner Andrew Jackson. That came across as. You were like, yeah, of course it's a black guy that killed him. Obviously, that's how that came across. Like,
3 a.m. Everybody's a black guy.
That's how I was like, wait a second. It's 3 a.m. and there's dead people. Of course it was a black guy. And I was like, wait, that's not what he means. I speak fluent Jimmy, and he means a completely different thing.
Larry
he means
Bill
everybody
black and everything.
Everybody at 3 in the morning.
Black you because it's dark.
Exactly. There you go. I believe Rebecca Gregg was behind the murders. Mm-hmm. Her trip to Florida was just too convenient and out of the ordinary. I believe she did it to set up an alibi. I have a hard time believing a career military officer with a daughter Dana's age could shoot Dana, pistol whip her, and shoot her again. Rebecca lied on the stand when she said she loved Dana. I know from talking to Dana that they hated each other. Okay. Dana did not like Rebecca, and Rebecca did not like Dana. Dana had Robert, and Dana was younger and had a natural beauty that Rebecca doesn't have. I think... Hey, I think these things ate at Rebecca. It's my belief that Larry Bill Elliott should not have received the death penalty. That serves no purpose. It doesn't solve anything for me. I do believe others besides Larry Bill Elliott were involved.
I'm on that side, too.
Dana's father.
But I got some things to say.
He was in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
He was at least hanging out, involved in it. He was there.
He put himself there. I think he may have gone in the back door. One way or another, he got in the house. These people died. He went out the back, not realizing that dog was there or not remembering or whatever, thought it would be penned up. I think he got out there, saw that dog, fucking ran and jumped and cut himself. That's what I think happened.
That's possible. Yeah, that's very possible.
I think Naughty cracked this case. I really do.
I think he would have definitely seen... I think he would have known about the dog only because he's been there hundreds of times, yeah, surveillance. Yeah. And a counterintelligence guy would know every in and out and, that sort of thing. But I could see if maybe, I don't know, I could see if he put the dog outside, or maybe the dog got put outside. Maybe he I'm not sure. He could have jumped. He could have went to go out the front, because the storm door is blowing open. Right. That's the only thing that makes me think that why would he go out the back? Yeah. The dog's there and the storm door is blowing open. So
maybe he didn't shut that storm door when he went in the front. Who knows?
He might have came up, put his hand up on the gate to jump over it, realized the dog was out there, and then walked away.
Yeah.
We don't fucking know, and left a spot of blood on it. He might not have even used it. We don't know. So Robert's younger sister said she's not surprised that Elliot's claiming innocence, though. This family split on this shit. Robert's younger sister says, I see that 2 juries have convicted him on the evidence that was shown, so yes, I think he's guilty. I don't think we'll ever get any remorse from him, though. Larry Bill says, the relationship I had with Rebecca Gregg has been mischaracterized. Early on, there was a compassion, a sense of caring, and a real passion. Yeah. That relationship transformed over time into a relationship that had promise. At the end, she was just looking for money. I was in love with the person she pretended to be. I was not obsessed with her. So
he's still snowed. She was looking for money the whole time, Larry, and you were looking for sex. And you kept giving and kept giving and kept giving and thought that maybe eliminating that man will be the solution. That's what happened.
He went to a rigged carnival game, and he thought, after the first times I bought all these balls to throw in a thing that was too small, I think the guy was on my side after that, was trying to help me do it better. No, always after your money.
I just bought every seat on the row and then guaranteed myself a win. And then they were like, you can't do that, sir. You get no prize.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Now, later on, Bunny will say he would have to say those types of things to maintain his stance that he's innocent. The police thoroughly checked out every aspect of my life. I gave them free rein to my home and my computer, and I was cooperative with them from the very beginning, which we know isn't true.
Yeah.
Right away. So this all goes through. He writes the governor for clemency. Okay. There's a whole, a clemency attempt here. And he says that he would have loved to have taken the stand, but on the advice of his counsel, he didn't take the stand. That's what it was. Yeah. He said also, they said that the prosecution would have wanted to ask questions about his personal relationship with Bunny and ask about all the money I gave her and how I met her through the internet, and it would have made me, look bad. Yeah. He said his lawyers told him that I was not the type of witness who wants to put so many details in my answer to answer questions. They feel the jury would misunderstand my personal style and think I was being evasive. So, he talks about being cooperative and, I was a good guy. He talks about she called me that night on January 1st and said she was driving up from Florida. He says at 3:20 a.m. he was at 7-Eleven getting a cup of coffee. And there is video surveillance of him at 7-Eleven getting a cup of coffee at 3:20 a.m. Okay. That's fine. All this happened at 4 a.m. and later. So that's great.
You're getting coffeeed up.
That's it. He said that he didn't even see anybody delivering newspapers. That's bullshit. Okay. He said also the Mary Bracewell woman said that she saw a guy with a skinny build, and he said, I'm 5'11", and at the time I weighed 200 pounds, so I'm more stocky.
James, in the middle of the night when I'm running, I might look pretty good in all black.
That's what I mean. You might look a little slimmer.
I might.
Now he said he talked to Rebecca that morning, to Bunny, and she said that she told me that she had called Mr. Finch earlier, and the discussion ended with them arguing with each other. She said that she was going to call him back and deliberately attempt to upset him. Okay. Because she said that she told me that she expected Mr. Finch would cool down from the argument by going outside to smoke marijuana, and she asked me to be ready to photograph him doing so. In hindsight, it now seems to me like the perfect setup by her so as to have me be in the area near the time of the crimes, but at that time I had no reason to doubt her motives. So he's saying she drew him there to get photos of him smoking weed, and at the same time she had other people kill him. And he was like, oh, no.
So you're saying a man with a wife and kids is on call to go take pictures at 3 fucking a.m.
3 a.m. and a job, by the way. God. He said there was no one delivering newspapers when I parked and exited my truck, nor did I see anyone walking or driving on the street where I had parked. I took my camera with me, walked around the area. They called the cops and said they saw you with your fucking truck. It doesn't matter if you saw them or not. You should pay attention more.
You're a bad murderer.
Bad at counter surveillance intelligence, you dumb fuck.
Well, this guy double-dipped, James. We rehired him.
God damn it. So he goes on and on and on and on about bullshit. Finally, it says, in regard to the blood drop that the police said was found at the back gate, here's what I can say. When I was interviewed by police detectives, they repeatedly asked me about the front of the townhouse on the night of the murders. For example, they asked if I had gone up to the front door of the townhouse that night and asked if I had knocked on the front door. The answer that I repeatedly gave them was no, and I gave that same answer now under oath. So he's saying that December 29th or 30th, he had touched the back gate. Mm-hmm. That's the most likely source of blood, yada, yada, yada. That's his whole thing. He goes on for so fucking long. It's ridiculous. In the end, he says, I continue to believe that my innocence will eventually be proven, and I hope that the governor will recognize how questionable and unreliable the evidence is against me and spare my life.
What a
So
dope.
He has friends saying that he cut his face or cut his hand with the beer because he said he went for a bowl game and all that to West Virginia. His wife said, this is just a funny line, our marriage had been strained for some time. As Bill consistently kept late hours, and I reached the point where I really didn't care whether he came home or not. She also says when he came home that night, I didn't notice anything unusual about him, nor did I notice any blood on his person or his clothes. Bill took out his suitcase and personal gear and left it in the house. I understand that someone has said there were some trash bags in Bill's truck that morning when he took our daughter to school. I believe whoever said that's mistaken. I did not observe any trash bags. She said his speech and mannerisms were normal and he wasn't acting fidgety or nervous as well.
Full of coffee.
Yeah, he's fine. 7-Eleven coffee from 3 o'clock in the morning. She said, though, he kept the cleaning of the truck. That's very normal because he keeps his truck pristine all the time. He cleans it twice a week. She said that she does recall in 2000, Bill hit a deer with his truck and put the deer in the back of his truck. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some traces of deer blood in the back of the truck as well. So if they found some blood they can't figure out, maybe that's it.
Washes it 2 times a week? That shit's still there?
Yeah.
Fuck out of
Still
here.
there. His friends said that he called him peaceable and nonviolent and all of this shit. So the governor, Tim Kaine, he says, given the nature of these crimes and the facts that were presented at trial, I have no reason to question the prosecutor's decision to seek the death penalty or the jury's decision that the death was an appropriate sentence. He said that, adding that the complicated nature of the case required extra care given irreversible nature of an execution. So keep on keeping on, shitbag. Go on. Yeah. This is when Clayton Finch, the father of Robert Finch, he also petitioned Governor Tim Kaine to commute this sentence. The father of the victim did. Yes. Wow. He said he believes Elliot did not deserve to die for his crimes. He said that Finch and his wife were the only family witnesses who are scheduled to see the execution from the room. And he said, he doesn't want it to happen. He didn't want it to happen.
Wow.
November 18th, 2009 is execution day.
Really?
Clemency denied. The media, there's 4 media witnesses, 6 official citizen witnesses chosen for the execution.
8 years. That is a fast track.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely. They bring him in. By the way, he chose electrocution.
Really?
You could choose fucking lethal injection or electric chair. He chose the electric chair.
The balls. 90
of the past 93 executions chose lethal injection.
Yeah.
Because it's a little less fucked up. Hurts a lot less. 1,800 volts at 7.5 amps.
Oh, my God.
Flow through the body for 30 seconds, followed by 60 seconds of 240 volts at 1.5 amps. And then they repeat it.
Dear God.
Last meal. He consumes his last meal.
Holy shit.
You want to really hate this guy?
What's he eat, James?
He asked that his choice of meal not be revealed to the public, and they listened to him. It's never been revealed.
Fuck off, sir.
You motherfucker. God damn it.
He fucking did it.
That's an asshole.
It really
this is like Scott Peterson with the bite of pizza.
Yeah.
That proves it. He fucking did it. That proves it. Jesus Christ.
Spiteful son of a bitch.
You fucking asshole. There's a whole description, by the way, very disturbing of a reporter that is witness and how the exact like step by step of getting there, being taken in, the whole thing of how it works. It's pretty fucking wild. The warden asked if he had any final words, and he blurted out quickly that he wasn't sure how much time he'd be allowed, so he prepared a statement that he'd given to his attorneys, who will read it later.
They'll get it to you. Don't worry about it.
They will do it. So the warden stands toward the back of the room, asks the corrections official, shall we proceed? The official's on a telephone with an open line to the governor's office, just in case the governor wants to go, hold on, change my mind. Literally, they're just sitting there listening. So they do all of that. The warden turned to another correctional officer who turned a key in the wall, activating the electrical system.
Holy shit.
And then another officer who's concealed in a room, the execution, this is the executioner room, hits a button marked, quote, this is what the button says, like a cartoon. It says execute.
Oh, I thought it said do not press.
No, it says execute. That's the execute the person button.
Wow, kill a person. Wow.
Kill a person. So they do kill him, and he is dead, and that is that. They never charge Rebecca. Nothing ever happens.
Bunny
is still 469.
Wow.
I don't know if she's alive or not, but she's not in jail for murder. I'll tell you that fucking much.
That is shocking.
He is killed. This seems like there's just too much confusion to kill anybody for.
No.
There's too much weird shit to kill anybody for. Prison's fine.
I was really jacked about it for a second because I thought they were going to get Bunny for
kids.
life. Yeah,
I get it.
It's a super fucked murder, and I thought they were going to get her too. I'm not.
But this is
that's a life without. Right.
This is ridiculous. Yeah. So I don't feel like justice was served in any way, shape, or form. I feel like someone that might have helped could possibly allegedly be walking free.
There's way too much in limbo.
Executed. Yeah. 4 kids have no parents. 2 innocent people were murdered. The whole thing's a fucking disaster. And that, everybody, is small town murder.
It's all fucked.
Is all fucked out panhandle behavior. Here it is. If you enjoy that, tell the world. Get on whatever app or platform you're listening to and give us 5 stars and say something nice, because it actually does help drive us up the charts, which is very helpful for the show. Follow us on social media. At Murder Small on Twitter, at SmallTownPod on Facebook, at SmallTownMurder on Instagram. Also, head over to our site, shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get all of your great merchandise, and there's tons of cool stuff there. You can take that merchandise and bring it to a live show, goddammit. Get your tickets there as well. Yeah. We are in New Orleans right now, Friday, if you're listening to this when it just came out on Thursday, July the 15th. Get your tickets also to Minneapolis, Milwaukee. Fuck that. Milwaukee, because you're going to outsell Minneapolis.
You bet.
Milwaukee, if we sell this out, this will be our largest show ever. And people, whenever we're interviewed by anybody, they always say, what's the biggest live show you've had? We're going to go, fucking Milwaukee, because they rock.
And the next 4 shows will all be in Wisconsin.
That's it. So, and if you did go to the Chicago show, it's a different story than the Chicago show.
Great.
Brand new show. So come out and see it, and it's going to be a lot of fun and kick other cities' asses. Milwaukee, show the world why you're not only last year's NBA champions, but in addition to that, an awesome city. So do that shit. Thank you.
Midwestern dick. Let's go.
That's right. Slap it on the table next to the cheese curds. So that's shutupandgivememurder.com, patreon.com/crime and sports. Get all of your bonus materials there. You'll also get a shout out at the end of the show coming up in a minute where Jimmy will mispronounce your name. But you're going to get bonus shows. You're going to get 4 bonus episodes a month.
Sometimes
every
6.
other week. Sometimes 6. Every other week you're going to get 2 new episodes coming out. 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder, and you're going to get access to all of it.
You bet.
Anybody $5. A cup of coffee will get you
less than
like 5 hours, less than a cup of coffee will get you 5 hours worth of good, crazy material. And this week is no exception. Also, you're going to have access to the back catalog of bonus stuff, so much stuff if you're looking for something to binge. And also, you are going to get this week's episodes, which we are going to do fun stuff here. First of all, we did the Chris Benoit murder last week for Crime and Sports, and these are crazy conspiracy theories of the Chris Benoit murder. There's a lot of people out there who say he didn't do it. The theories range very deeply, and there's a crazy wrestler who gave an interview very passionately with these theories, and he has paperwork. It's crazy. It's fucking insane. Then for Small Town Murders bonus, we're going to talk about Russell Williams, who is the Canadian BTK killer, I like to call him.
Gross.
He was right on the same line, but actually worse because he was smarter and a little bit more efficient with the whole thing and had
much
more military precision.
Oh, God, the official
high-ranking,
job
high-ranking Air Force officer in Canada, and one little tiny, unassuming-looking interrogator sat his ass down and went from this guy being, I'm the king of the world, to, in an hour, Let me see a map and I'll show you where the bodies are. It's incredible to talk about this interrogation. We'll talk all about him. That is patreon.com/crime and sports. And it is time for the other half of that, which is the shout outs. Jimmy, I would like you to hit me with these shout-outs. Hit me very hard, like someone who has just given you $450,000 for absolutely no sexual activity. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Calvin Holland and the Jeepers and Loggers of BC. He sent a huge donation for whatever reason. You're a sweetheart of a man, Calvin. Thank you so much.
Keep on jeeping and logging.
Canada's terrific. And another Canadian, Jordan Bennett, obviously, every
Jordan
goddamn week. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
Tasha Messmer in PA. She's fantastic as well. And Ben Gunn, thank you all so much. You're amazing. Other producers this week are Peyton Meadows, Naven Johnson, Rosa Martinez, brother Angel.
Naven Johnson.
Happy Hour in Hartford, Connecticut. Frank the South African birdwasher. Dorothy May, happy birthday. It was her 83rd birthday in Australia. That's Justine McNeil's grandmother, I believe, or just mother. I don't know. It's a relative. Happy 83rd birthday.
Fucking somebody.
Gaetano Biagio Petrogallo donated this week.
Oh, that's me. That's me. That's what my name might have been.
I know. Bo Kaki, Sherry Ivers, happy birthday. Joe Buckley, Cammie Struncy, I think. Carrie Bose, Hannah Gabrielle, Adam Carpenter, James Matovich, Cheryl Swanson, Foolish Genius, Jacqueline Rose Elmo, Angel Nobody No Crime Baker, Elena S., Jayla Calhoun, Aaron Switzer, Janet Dow, Catherine with no last name, Amber Baker, Fart Box, Wayne Westland.
Fart Box? You separated those words. Not fart box. Fart box.
Well, it's 2 words on Patreon.
It's 2 words.
You get it, 2 words.
Fart box. First name fart, last name box.
Ryan Brewster, Linda Ben, Alexis Bonner, Amber Titticott. Oh boy. Brittany
Cockerham.
Brittany Chantel, Trace Hoekstra, home with no last name. Valerie Murphy, Nick Steinbrick, Dr. Tragedy, Richard Embry, I think, Emmett Mael, Matthew Schmidt, Sam D, Whitney Dearden, Luke Mulding, Toto Shimazu, I think, Jessica Helping, Brandy Green, Olivia Vanderlyn, Ruth Santana, Haley Conroy, Matt Flick, Maggie Heffling, Shannon McKiernan, Cole Harmon, Stephanie Sevior, Elizabeth with no last name, Jen with no last name, Megan Hare, Cody Doan, Meredith Moore, Jake Caulfield, Phoenix Van Hoosen, Brian Bade, Andrea Aragon, Tiffany Reichel, Jimbo Kirshner, Faded Replays, Courtney Renz, Greg Morrison, Stan with no last name, Jamie Mantia, Rebecca Dawson, Byranda Tatum, Christiane Elizabeth, Sandy Lehman, RPM, Cordelia with no last name, Jason Slinger, Leanne Nosco, I think, Satu K, what is this? Kelly Ferguson, Jeep Effin, oh boy.
Jeep effin' Jeeps.
Jeepin'. That's the guy, the Jeepers. It's the Jeepers. Meredith, Mary Beth Stout, Terrell Love, Nadia Fromastia, oh boy, Cameron Grove, Julie with no last name, Helena with no last name, Kimberly Basman, Keith Lane, Lord Estiancia of Medidius Pulus, Cameron Hicks, the Pure Mind,
a good one.
The Pure Mind of Maddie Nycannon, Jessica McCain, Carolyn Helms, Daniel Baker, Kat with no last name, Tess with no last name, Stupid Asshole. Do you get it? Are you proud of yourself? Christine Payne, Kyle Fleischman, Abigail Lawson, Will Brackett, Michael Gralton, Valerie Ross, Reese Rice, Ronald Roman, Aaron Ward, Michaela Bridges, Ian Jones, Corinne Luther, Mary Angela Ellendorf, Jesus, Catman Willie, BC Jeeper. It was Jeep FN for real. Cheryl Bean, Happy Harmony Boutique, Jesus. Jackson Dolan, Jay Torres, David Burns, Sherry Middlebrooks, Dawn Winters, C8 with a C, Nick Blanchard, Fat Man, Amy Derrick, Asterisk, Rhiannon, Asterisk has no last name, Rhiannon Montgomery, Brandon with no last name, Brittany Boucher, Addison with no last name, Carly Hunter, the mayor of Beertown, Mike Hansen Jr., Colette Caruso, what is it?
Popular guy, the mayor of Beertown.
It's a gal, Carly Hunter. Unless it's a guy. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Katie Patelli, Rachel Gaunt, Caden Warren, Kim Huven, Michelle Moore, John Breckard, Bryce Dangler. What? Roar Wade, Kyle with no last name, Janie Stansel, Bethany Phillips, Katie Workman-Berger, Bradley Wheeler, Raquel Mertz, Sandy Cuddle, Dumber. Oh, boy. Hunter Dunder. Hey. Hunter Dumber. What? Hunter Dumber, maybe? I don't know. Uncle Sherry? What? Kim John Will, and also Rafael Rocio, and all of our patrons. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. So much for all that you do for us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for being a member of Patreon. You are the heartbeat of the fucking show, so thank you. We do this for you, and we care more what you think than most people. True. So thank you so much for what you do for us. And if you want to find us on social media, very easy to do that. Either Google search Small Town Murder Podcast Host. There's only 2 of us. Yeah. Or just go to shutupandgivememurder.com, and on the way to getting your merchandise and tickets, you can grab that links to the social media. Yeah. It's all right there. You can find us. We'll say hello. That said, until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country, who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.